And I must tell you, on a lot of these seats, you might see that the others are 3, but it's the highest number of independents that are in the fray in this election in Haryana, over 450 independents. What does that mean? Ultimately, they will cut the vote out of a particular BJP or a Congress candidate, that one of them goes ahead. So the factor of the independent is what we are seeing at play right now. It's not so much of what you're talking of, it is the independents are kicking in right now.
So they're dividing the anti-incumbency vote and thereby benefiting BJP. Either way, Rahul, this is actually now becoming a more interesting election even in Haryana. Because you're just only 3 above the halfway mark. What was, seen as a sweep, we need to now say is a tight contest even in Haryana.
The devil is always in the detail, and the detail shows that Haryana is now a very tight election in terms of vote share. The gap between the Congress and the BJP is now down to just 2. Earlier, this gap was 6 to 8% when the trends were, coming in a couple of hours ago. Now the gap is just 2. The BJP is actually managed to increase its vote share from 37 to 39 up to the Congress is at 41, just a 2% gap over the BJP. That's a good time to look at what's happening in the direct fights. In the direct fights that are happening between the Congress and the BJP, in the 39 leads that we have, you've got the BJP winning about 62% of them. If I look at the strike rate of the different candidates, the Congress currently has a strike rate of 53%. The BJP has a strike rate of only 42%. So definitely not looking like much of a tsunami, Rajdeep. Not looking like much of an Andhi or Tufan either.
No, it's not even, at below 50, it's not even a wave. It's 47 now. That's only 2 above a halfway mark. So suddenly you've got a remember, you can tell us margin seats. There could be margin seats now in Haryana where the margin is less than 1,000 votes. It's 45-40 for the first time. This is big news. For the first time, the Congress is only at the halfway mark at 45. The BJP has crossed 40. This is huge.
And the others, which you see the number 3 there, now if this is what it holds, 42 for the BJP, if this is what it holds, the other 3 who are leading are the ones who will in all probability gravitate towards the BJP.
Absolutely.
So will all gravitate towards the BJP.
For example, who's
INLD, that one from INLD, the 3 from others will go to the BJP. So you can actually read this, Rajdeep, as 45 and 45.
I still think that you will find one side will move ahead of the other. But
now you're under the halfway mark.
But now, as of now, you've got a tight fight, 43-43. It's equal in Haryana, 43-43. This is one of the most remarkable turnarounds that's taken place in the last 30 minutes alone. All the laddus, the churma, the Congress was talking about just half an hour ago, Pawan Kheda among others celebrating. It's now 43-43 in Haryana, as tight as it gets. This could be a remarkable twist in the tail at the end of the day. Yashwant Deshmukh, the pollsters, looking at these numbers, are we going to see another day when the pollsters will have to eat humble pie?
No, I will wait for the final results.
You're still confident?
Yes, absolutely. We are still
What we can do is show our viewers the margin calculator, which gives us very important details. As of now, there are 51 seats.
BJP ahead. For the first time today, Rahul, BJP ahead of the Congress in Haryana.
There are 51 seats at this time out of the 90 in Haryana, where the margin between the winner and the runner-up is less than 500 votes. Out of those, the Congress is leading in 30, the BJP on 19. So, ladies and gentlemen, this election...
ये खुलने शुरू हुए हैं, ईवीएम खुलने शुरू हुई है। अभी पहला राउंड हुआ है, पोस्टल बैलेट खुल गए होंगे सबसे ज्यादा। तो अभी तो बराबर है। हाँ, बाकी अभी राहुल गांधी जी की फैक्ट्री का, जलेबियों की फैक्ट्री का दरवाजा खोला नहीं है, पता नहीं खुलता नहीं खुलता।
अच्छा भाई साहब, कल बड़े रिलैक्स मोड में आप थे, गाना गा रहे थे, जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया। आज भी कोई गाना हो जाए आज के मौके के हिसाब से?
आज के मौके से क्या समझना, ये हंसता हुआ कारवां जिंदगी का न पूछो चला है किधर, तमन्ना यूं ही साथ चलते रहे, खत्म हो न कभी ये सफर।
सब जो अभी से कांग्रेस के अंदर जो है वो सीएम को लेकर स्टार्ट हो गया है। हुड्डा साहब ने कहा है ना मैं टायर्ड हुआ हूँ ना मैं रिटायर्ड हुआ हूँ।
ऐसी बात अक्सर मैंने बुजुर्गों को कहते सुना, जो जवान होते हैं वो ऐसी बात नहीं कहते।
तो सर मुख्यमंत्री आवास में नजर आएंगे आप अपने?
अगर हरियाणा की जनता चाहेगी और हाई कमांड का आशीर्वाद होगा तो जरूर आएंगे, अभी तो दूर नहीं लग रहा।
आज हम भावी मुख्यमंत्री से बात कर रहे हैं।
भाई इकट्ठा ही कर लो, कल्ला कल्ला नहीं। देखो देखो
We are witnessing a half-hour Rahul that we haven't seen in a very long time, because at 9 a.m. everyone was celebrating in the Congress headquarters. Laddus and crackers were being burst. Guess what? Just in the last half an hour, we've seen a remarkable shift. The BJP was trailing 2-1 to the Congress in Haryana. It's tightened, and it is now a close run race where the margin could go anywhere. Haryana, as of now, and it's of course only 9:45, could go anywhere. As of now, it's hung. The three independents, remember, include the likes of Savitri Jindal, a BJP rebel, the JJP, which was an ally of the BJP, and therefore you could argue what appeared to be a wave, Andhi or a tsunami, is turning out to be a tight fight in Haryana. That's the remarkable shift of Indian politics that can take place. Congress only marginally ahead now in a tight Haryana contest. Actually, it's in Jammu and Kashmir that we are finding a greater degree of clarity in terms of the fact that the NC Congress is at the halfway mark there, well ahead of the other parties. So what clearly ulat fair, the word that is often used in Hindi, you now have a Congress BJP neck and neck fight that could go either way in Haryana. Now, remember, these are early trends. Much could change in the next 1 hour. We could possibly see one of the two sides pull away if it becomes more and more bipolar. But if, as Preeti says, independents and the smaller parties start picking up more and more votes, then the election becomes tighter all the way.
But Rajdeep, this mirrors exactly that the independents are doing well. Let's not look at that figure of 2 and INLD of 1 there. Okay, even though the 3 will go to the BJP, but the larger picture here is this election has seen a sea of independents in the fray, and those are the ones who've come in and are cutting the vote and taking the vote of the anti-incumbents.
So what happens to the analysis we did 45 minutes ago that India is becoming more and more bipolar?
It is because
No, but the independents are obviously taking votes.
The prospects of parties.
38% to the BJP and 42% to the Congress makes
That's
it
80%.
80%.
I'll give you an example.
So it is getting bipolar,
So go
and it is bipolar here.
No, I'll
And the
give you an
BJP
example
is at the halfway mark. The BJP is at the halfway mark at the moment in Haryana. This is a staggering turnaround of a kind
It's
of
a
much
better
better
performance than 2019.
as of now. So are we seeing perhaps one of the biggest turnarounds in the space of 45 minutes that we've ever seen in recent state elections? A party that was down 2-1 is now ahead. This is quite remarkable. And if that happens, this will be a huge victory for the BJP. Yes, go ahead.
The example that I was giving you, Rajdeep, on how the independents have played a very significant role this election. And this election, with what we were discussing right in the morning, would have come down to only 2 factors. How the Congress is going to do will be dependent on how the independents do. And an example, Vinesh Phogat's seat of Julana. Vinesh Phogat is facing off with 16 Jat candidates there. So each
But she's leading.
She's leading, but I'm just giving you an example of one particular seat. She was trailing a short while ago. I don't think she's leading anymore. And 14 Jat candidates.
Big story is we're seeing
she's leading.
this turn into a T20 match of a kind you wouldn't have imagined when you tuned in this morning.
Incredible.
It was imagined that Jammu-Kashmir may throw up a fractured mandate and that Haryana would be clean Rajdi was talking about Aandhi hai ki Tufan hai ki Tsunami hai. It doesn't seem like any of that. It seems like massive mid-air turbulence for the Congress just at this moment. The BJP currently leading at 47. It will be very interesting to see if some life is sputtering back at the BJP headquarters, which are desolate this morning at 47 versus 40. The BJP could be pulling off, at this moment it seems, a historic three-time victory.
This would be a remarkable
Hat-trick of
victory
sorts, if it happens.
I think even if the BJP crosses 40, I think that would be quite remarkable. If they can cross 40,
100%.
10 years after par, it shows that somewhere down the line, perhaps the BJP has managed to consolidate its core vote, especially among non-Jats, to an extent that was unimaginable. Even by us who went on the ground, felt that it was just the other way around, that there was anti-incumbency. But, you know, hats off if the BJP pulls it off. And what will the polls...
It's not, Rajdeep, look at
What
it.
will
It's
the
not
pollsters
non-Jats.
say?
It's not Jats and non-Jats. Look at the Jat land. It's BJP's leading in the Jat land as per the current number. 10 leads to the BJP and 7 to the Congress.
That's right. And
Okay,
it's left,
so the
and
pollster is
7-5
going
in
to
bargain.
say, the devil is in the detail. On the Election Commission website, the Congress vote share is 4% more than the BJP. And if
Okay.
the Congress vote share is more than 4% in BJP, BJP polls generally huge margins in the urban areas.
Right.
All right. So if the Congress state vote share is more than the BJP, then Congress is going to pull it off.
So are you still confident that the Congress will form the government?
Absolutely confident. There is no question
So
about it.
explain to me, you know, how is these numbers show 39,
Because
47
these are
then?
very, you see, these are, with each EVM opening up, please try to understand, small and marginal seats will keep on flipping this way and that way. But whichever party is getting a larger vote share in the state, eventually will end up having bigger number of marginal seats as well. That is why when you and Yogenji were discussing why it happens that many a times the seats go in favor of the winning party more disproportionately. It's not disproportionate. It's very plain statistics. A party which is leading by a bigger vote share, in the marginal seats, as and more waves of counting coming by, the marginal seats will go to the party which is having a
Do
bigger
we know
vote
how
share.
many marginal seats there are in Haryana?
Yes,
Because
I
that
do.
will give us a sense.
So at this moment in Haryana, there are 39 seats where the gap between the party that's leading and the party that's in number
Less
2
than
position
500.
is less than 500
Wow.
votes. The Congress is leading on 20, the BJP on 18. This would become interesting if one party was leading on a disproportionate number of the marginal seats. The marginal seats at this moment are split
50-50
relatively evenly between the BJP and the Congress, so that doesn't make much of a difference. It is when marginal seats are swinging disproportionately one way
Bhupinder Hooda's
that the
trailing.
result can turn. At this moment, the BJP is currently leading on 46, the Congress on 41. If I look at the seats where the margin is less than 1,000, at this moment in Haryana, there are 49 seats where the margin is less than 1,000 votes. The BJP leading on 23, the Congress on 25. So that's not likely to change very much. The split is quite even.
Yeah, and also that the margin of 1,000 doesn't mean that these many are marginal seats right now, because the only 1 or 2 rounds of counting has taken place. You know, so you need to keep an eye on only on the 500 things. Those are the seats which are going to be marginal, and that number in the 500 category will keep on going less and less as the counting
something that-
increases.
But even in 500, both the parties are, you know, Congress is leading 20 and BJP in 18. So both have. So what was a one-sided election is definitely a close election.
Again,
All of you
from
predicted
pure
a one-sided
statistical,
election.
Rajdeep, it's pure statistical terms. As the counting will progress, the party with the larger vote share will end up flipping more marginal seats to its favor.
Okay.
You know,
So you
something
need to
which
wait.
I
That's a well
think,
point
but something which I think Bhupinder Hooda would not have imagined, because he was already accepting congratulations this morning, is that he's right now currently trailing from
And
Gadi
it's very
Sapla Kilo.
interesting. He's trailing a candidate whose husband was
Manju.
charge sheeted. Manju's husband is seen as a sort of, what do you call them, Bahubali of the area in Rohtak. And very interesting, Bhupinder Singh Hooda's career. The first 3 elections he contested in the 1980s, he lost. He only picked up his political career in the early 90s. Then, since then, he hasn't lost.
Look at Haryana now, Rajdeep, 37 versus 48.
That's a big
the
gap.
Congress is slipping and the BJP is gaining. And I want to go across to Piyush Mishra, who's at the BJP headquarters. Things are very desolate, dispirited in the morning. Is there some life coming back to the BJP headquarters?
It is still morning. It's 10 o'clock.
I think, well,
Rahul, not yet. Still, BJP has put all its fingers crossed, but the table seems to be turning. Remember that early trends were showing the results of something else, and it was giving a good edge to the Congress party. But now it seems to be, it is now indicating that BJP is now leading on at least 48 seats. As of now, the picture is not yet clear, and BJP is still waiting for the final results to come out. We are right now at BJP headquarters, and let me once again try to show you the pictures from right outside the entry gate. Generally, when we cover the result day, we see a lot of celebrations, a lot of workers here. But as of now, as we are speaking, the workers have not turned up in large number. Only media gear is here. Journalists have come here outside the BJP headquarters. And if the trends which we are right now we are getting, and if these trends turn to be the actual results, and certainly we will see huge celebrations taking place. We were also talking, Rahul, to various BJP leaders, and they were very confident. They were saying that despite having anti-incumbency, BJP was able to fight that. They changed the Chief Minister's face, and they were also very much hopeful of the fact that after removing Manohar Khattar, Naib Singh Saini's acceptance was a lot there in the common people, the common cadres. This could be the game changer for Bharatiya Janata Party. Also, the kind of ticket distributions have taken place. I still remember, Rahul, that long hour, late night meetings took place at Home Minister Amit Shah's residence, at JP Nadda's residence, where they zeroed in on each and every assembly seat. And after deciding, on all the candidates and taking and deciding on one candidate, they had announced the ticket. So BJP had taken at least 1 week after Central Election Committee to announce its ticket. And in its first list, more than 60 candidates were announced. So it was a pre-planned strategy on which the BJP was working. And if the early trends which we are right now picking, which is certainly indicating that BJP might, form the government, then we will see a lot of celebrations here. As of now, like I mentioned, that only spokespersons can be seen. Workers have not turned out in large numbers. If results go in favor of BJP, by 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. we will see massive celebrations here at BJP headquarters. Rahul.
It will be great now to go to the Congress headquarters, where, remember, the Congress was already celebrating with laddus, with churma, with crackers, and suddenly, and jalebi factory that was being spoken about. Yashwant Deshmukh still maintaining that with a 4% vote share edge, it will be the Congress that could be ahead of the BJP. But as of now, we go by the numbers we see on our screen. And if I'm a BJP supporter and looking at those numbers, I'm going to say this is one of the most massive turnarounds that's taken place in the space of 1 hour. A party which was leading in 20 seats is now leading in close to 50 seats in 49. Now that is even more than they got in 2014 and 2019. So you could have one of the most massive turnarounds that we've seen in recent times. If 2024 was a surprise, this could be an even bigger surprise in the offing.
Can I come?
Sorry? At the moment we have with us, do we have our Congress reporter? No. We'll go to the Congress reporter in a moment, but yes, Rajat.
See, understand, in 2014, BJP barely had 33% vote share, and
Yes.
it was able to get 47 seats.
Yes.
Then its vote share increased from 33% to 37%, and the seats dropped from 47 to 40. Now they are upwards of 37. They are looking at 38% vote share. You might also see a surprise because it's the distribution of votes, how that distribution
Exactly.
happens.
But Rajat, the Congress vote share 5 years back, Congress has almost doubled the vote share. You are looking
Fair
at a
enough.
20 to
But
23%
it
to
could
right
also be
40% plus.
how spread out that vote is and
Yeah.
how concentrated the
Across
vote is.
regions,
So
very
this result
important.
might as well hold for fairly long time, and then you'll see crystallizing around these numbers.
You see, let's do a divide of the region-wise, because that will give you a sense. Urban, rural, very clear. BJP leading in 21 urban seats, Congress in just 6. So you've got a strong urban-rural divide that is going clearly towards the BJP at the moment in Haryana. Faridabad, Gurgaon, Rohtak, even Rohtak. At the moment, you've got the BJP showing that it's going ahead. Then you go to rural Haryana, and there in rural Haryana, you see that the Congress is marginally ahead of the BJP, 31 to 27. The BJP, though, is making a comeback even in rural Haryana. You go region-wise in Haryana, in the Ahirwal belt, areas from Gurugram stretching across Mewat, the BJP is sweeping. 21 out of the 28 are with the BJP in the Ahirwal belt. Strong Yadav presence, also strong presence in some parts like Nu of Muslim community, but by and large it is the BJP all the way. Come to Bagar, and this, remember, is an area with a strong presence of Jats, also of Dalits and upper caste. Here, Congress leading in 9, BJP in 6, INLD in 2. INLD holding on to its bases like Elanabad. Come to Jatland, and here clearly is where the turnaround as of now is taking place. BJP leading in 10, Congress in 7. So could there be a reverse counter consolidation taking place here is something that we will be looking at very, very closely.
At least where at least we've identified our regions, places like Gohana, places like Sonipat. This is more to the GT Karnal belt, urban sectors.
And there you've got Kurukshetra, where the Congress is leading in 16 and the BJP
Now
in 10.
the Congress is back in the lead, 44 versus 41. Basically, they want to ensure that no punditry is good enough. You just look at the scoreboard and just comment on the scoreboard for what it is.
But this is classic T20, where every over makes a difference. You went out for a quick break for about a minute and a half. From 37 to the BJP, they were 49. They've come down to 42. The Congress was 37, come to 43. One message: either you take an extended break so the BJP goes up to 58 from 49, or you don't take any break at all. The Congress will tell you your friend Pawan Kheda, so that the Congress gets recovery.
No, but this
1.5 minutes has changed it.
But this is very embarrassing for the Congress, because if after 10 years of anti-incumbency, the BJP can still make a match of it, Rahul Verma, and still get you to sweat in this fashion. This should have been slam dunk from the Congress's perspective. It's not. It's 43 versus 42. I mean, no matter what happens in the end, the BJP has fought with all that it had and has made life really miserable for the Congress.
I think there were two chinks in the armor for the Congress, and I wasn't on the ground, so Preeti and others could tell this more. I think one was, could Haryana become like Chhattisgarh, where Congress thought it's basically an easy, short victory, and they became complacent at the last minute, and then it became a match. The second was, if there is going to be a serious sort of like polarization of Jats in favor of Congress, it will create another sort of like counter polarization in favor of Congress, and then it could become a match. So I'm not saying like BJP is like poised to win Haryana after 10 years, but it could become a contest title.
I think it's second. I think you're absolutely. You see, I don't think the Congress in Haryana, to be fair to them, for once got complacent. They fought till the end. You had Rahul Gandhi's yatras. They went for it. But the second point you make, I think, is critical. There is counter consolidation. Remember, there were riots in 2016, the Jat riots. And there was a sense that you've got, whether you like it or not, there has been polarization on the ground. In the Lok Sabha elections as well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the BJP led in more constituencies than the Congress, 44 to 40. No, just a minute. You cannot deny, if these numbers, we have to go by the numbers.
Yes.
If these numbers are there, there is a counter polarization that is taking place.
Is because if you look at how these numbers are spread out, Rajdeep, it doesn't smack of polarization. They're spread out across all regions in terms of favor for the BJP, even in the Jat strongholds.
What is happening?
Can I add to? Can I add to?
If the Jats are 30%, the non-Jats also
Rajdeep, can I add to what Rahul was saying? Point number 3, which I think is actually point number 1, and that would be the role of independence. This, as per me, was a negative election, a negative vote election for the BJP. It was inko bhagana hai, na ki Congress ko lana hai. And therefore, the role of independents come in at that point of time. How well these independents are doing is practically... Rajdeep, no, it's not the figure that you see. It's how many, in terms of the anti-incumbency vote, how much are the independents taking it away?
But the BJP is actually... No, just a minute. It's, in terms of vote share, the BJP is holding on to its vote share. What was our understanding was that the independents and the JJP, the third party vote share is shrinking, going to the Congress, right? What is happening at the moment? BJP is holding on to its vote share, and the Congress is not being able to take it.
It's not holding on to its vote share. The BJP has actually grown its vote share.
That's right.
See, what is happening in Haryana is massively commendable from the BJP's
Either I'm in Congress or BJP.
The BJP's vote share has gone up to 39%, up 2 from the last time. Others are at 12. They are where they were the last time, just 1 down. The JJP is down 14%. The Congress has gained 14%. From the BJP's perspective, this is a massive, massive turnaround. Kumari Shailja has been one of the key players in the Haryana elections. She's been quite upset with the way things were handled. She's speaking at this time to Mausi.
मैं आपको कहती हूँ, मुझे नहीं मालूम कौन सा चैनल क्या दिखा रहा है, क्योंकि सब अलग-अलग दिखा रहे हैं, लेकिन ये विश्वास के साथ मैं कह सकती हूँ कि कांग्रेस पार्टी प्रचंड बहुमत से, जो हम पहले दिन से कह रहे हैं, प्रचंड बहुमत से कांग्रेस पार्टी सरकार बनाएगी. बाय द एंड ऑफ द डे, बाय द एंड ऑफ ऑल द राउंड्स, आप देख लेंगे, ये सामने आ जाएगी बात.
एकाएक देखते हैं कि 10 बजे ट्रेंड अगर बदलता है तो वही मेंटेन रहता है शाम दोपहर तक. तो बीजेपी एकदम से सन्नाटा पसरा हुआ था बीजेपी हेडक्वार्टर्स में. कल जब हम आपसे बात कर रहे थे तो आपने कहा था कि 60+ कांग्रेस आ रही है. अभी भी आप कायम है इस बात?
जी बिल्कुल कायम हो, और आप देखेंगे अभी चल रहा है. ऐसा नहीं होता है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. अगर बीजेपी में सन्नाटा था तो उन्हें कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन तो मिली होगी ना अपने बारे में.
और क्या आपको लगता है वजह है, ये एंटी इनकम्बेंसी है या प्रो कांग्रेस वोट भी है?
बोथ. देखो, हमेशा दोनों है. एक भारी एंटी इनकम्बेंसी भी है और भारी रुझान कांग्रेस की ओर है. उम्मीद का है जो कांग्रेस ने काम किया है, राहुल जी ने एक माहौल क्रिएट किया है, ये सब उसका नतीजा भी आप देख रहे हैं.
और कौन होगा सीएम इस पे लगातार सवाल बना हुआ है.
Isn't it too early? अभी देखो, ये तो चल रही है बातें कई दिन से.
46, चित्रा बता रही है बीजेपी 46 पर जा पहुंची है और कांग्रेस 38 पे है.
कोई बात नहीं, आप चिंता ना करिए, इतनी चिंता मत करिए. कांग्रेस प्रचंड बहुमत से 60+ से सरकार बनाएगी.
आपको लगता है पलटेगा भी मामला?
पलट नहीं रहा, ये डेवलप हो रहा है. पलटने की कोई बात नहीं है, ये तो राउंड चलते हैं.
और सीएम की दावेदारी पर कायम है आप अभी?
क्यों नहीं, क्यों नहीं.
और क्या आपके स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट्स आपको?
नहीं, अभी लेट्स जस्ट अभी इसी चीज पर चलते हैं और एक बार रिजल्ट आने दो, फिर और बातें भी करेंगे.
हुड्डा साहब ना टायर्ड है ना रिटायर्ड.
ठीक है, नो वन इन कांग्रेस शुड बी रिटायर्ड.
शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए. शैलजा कुमारी यहाँ पे, अंजना चित्रा एक्सक्लूसिव बातचीत में हमारे साथ. कहती हैं अभी रुझान पलटेंगे, मामला जो है कांग्रेस के पक्ष में ही जाए.
You're seeing at the moment, as Kumari Shailja expresses confidence, is one of the most remarkable turnarounds that I have seen in the last 1 hour in any state election. A party written off completely just an hour ago with all our analysis about wave, Andhi, tsunami is turning out to be a cliffhanger. Kaate ki takkar is the only way now to describe what is happening in Haryana. Let the pollsters say what they want. This is at the moment now going to be an election that could go down to the wire, Rahul. It could be a matter of 5 or 7 or 10 seats if these numbers hold, of course. Still early trends. 90 minutes, I think, of the most fascinating election lie ahead.
I just spoke to a senior Congress leader. He says Haryana is a small state. There is a 4% plus gap between the BJP and the Congress
3%.
when it comes to vote share. No, there's also CPM 0.5.
Okay.
So he says you do any kind of simulation. In that simulation, the Congress will come out.
That is bizarre logic.
That is their logic.
Absolutely third-class bizarre logic. I'm telling you why.
Okay, why?
If you see JJP's concentration in 2019, and this is the discussion we were having in the studios, JJP was concentrated in the Hisar-Sirsa belt. Only that sort of vote section moved into the Congress. The distribution of the vote share of NT-BJP did not change much. So if they can actually secure with a 37%, 40 seats, now with a 39% vote share, they can go up to 40, 45, 46 seats
It's a
easily.
very difficult
It's a proposition.
I think the
Don't go by vote share.
You see, also the Congress is going by historical belief that the BJP, where it wins in Haryana, wins big.
That's
and therefore,
wrong.
even with a
That's
lower
patently
vote
wrong.
share, they may not win the same number of seats because they win big. However, an election can be very different. And as Preeti is pointing out in Jharkhand, if in Jharkhand you actually have the Congress trailing, then you have an election which could go right down to the wire. The numbers are the...
Then Rajdeep, because what is the Jharkhand saying right now? BJP leading at 11, Congress at 6. Then the Bharatiya Janata Party has fought a very astute election because a lot of the independents in the fray, especially in the Jat region or across Haryana, have been put forth by the BJP. When you even go and speak to them, they tell you that on air. And they say it. And all of them have been fielded by the BJP. They are slowly chipping away that anti-incumbency vote of the Congress.
One of the Jat leaders used to say that, when the Tau sits on his cart, And if that cart is provided by an independent, you'll have a small sway in that specific village also.
It's a very,
So
in
it's not
Haryana,
like
it's very candidate specific.
Right,
It
exactly.
is
And the
jiski
candidate
mooch,
will have a
uski pooch. Now that could be any party.
Smaller parties and independent doing well in Jharkhand. All the old sort of logic of Haryana politics is being turned on its head. Kurukshetra, a region where BJP would have expected to win, Congress is leading. Ahirwal, where the BJP was expected to win, the BJP leading. The real turnaround is taking place in the Jat areas where, as I said, Jat consolidation or the fear of a Jat leadership could be resulting in the other communities coming together. Now, will that hold? Will decide this election.
But Rajdeep, let me tell you this. With a lower vote share of the BJP can still result in higher number of seats in the state of Haryana.
Absolutely.
It is quite likely that Congress has higher vote share and still loses the
No,
election.
but the argument against that is that holds true when there is a very strong third player like there was in the case of the JJP or the INLD previously. It is possible, but it is tougher to achieve with smaller, disparate independents.
It's about distribution of the vote share.
Sure,
I mean,
but it's tougher to achieve. If there's a strong third party, it's easier to achieve than with smaller.
Rahul, can we see the Jatland seats and the marginal seats
that's what I wanted to show. So if I look at the seats which are called the Jatland seats of Haryana, 17 such seats. Interestingly, the BJP currently leads on 11 of those, which is up 8 from the last time. The Congress is leading currently only on 6, which is down 6 from the last time. These are seats in the area called Jatland. Let's now look at Kurukshetra. In Kurukshetra, the Congress is currently leading on 14, up 5 from the last time. The BJP leading on 11, down 3 from the last time. In the Ahirwal belt, close to Delhi, bordering Gurgaon, you've got the BJP leading on 19, the Congress on 8. The Congress is up 1 from the last time. The BJP is up 2. In the Bagad area of Haryana, on these 18 seats, you've got the Congress leading on 10, the BJP on 5. If I look at the seats which are currently being very closely fought, 21 seats where the gap between the winner and the runner-up, the party in the lead and the runner-up is less than 500. 11 of those for the Congress, 9 of those for the BJP. If you look at seats where the margin is less than 1,000, 15 leads for the Congress, Rajdeep, 16 for the BJP.
Rahul, can I ask you to cut across to the caste dynamic, and that's where the detail also lies in this. The SC areas, that is the Dalit vote, is being swept by the Congress. And it's strangely the Jat hold where the BJP is doing well. Just take a look.
Okay, so let's take our viewers through the Gujar seats of Haryana. Out of the 5 Gujar seats, the BJP is leading on all 5 Gujar seats of Haryana. In the seats which are classified as Dalit Bahul, which is basically that, Dalit dominated seats, 30 such seats, not just reserved, but Dalit dominated. The Congress is leading on 20, up 11 from the last time. The BJP on 9, down 1 from the last time. In the Muslim-dominated seats, 6 such seats, the Congress leading on 4, up 1 from the last time, the BJP on 2. In the Brahmin-dominated seats, 2 such seats, the Congress leading on both those seats. In the Jat-dominated seats, it's very interesting to note that the BJP is up 6 from the last time. The Congress is at 16. It's the JJP which is at 0. So the JJP's setbacks to the JJP have got split between the Congress and the BJP. They haven't gone to the Congress's fold. Ajay Alok joins us. Dr. Ajay Kumar joins us from the Congress and Ajay Alok from the BJP. Dr. Ajay Kumar, I come to you first. 50 plus for the NC and the Congress in Kashmir and Jammu. That election seems settled. You were hoping for a big victory in Haryana. Far from, it's turning out to be a T20 style cliffhanger.
Look, I was sincerely hoping that you would have called me an hour and a half back because it seemed to be an outstanding trend at that time. Look, it's still early for sure. Jammu and Kashmir is a very reassuring trend. So that's I won't discuss that on too much. On Haryana, right now it's surprising for the fact is that though I see that a lot of seats which are coming in are 500 and 1,000 margins from both sides. So I think the more clearer picture will come in an hour's time when those numbers will be much more clearer. I strongly believe that we should be close to 50, close to the 50 number. And the second thing which confuses me a lot, Rahul, is the different channels. Now, by and large, the channels are showing different, the numbers vary between 10 to 12. So early days, but yes, to give credit to the Bharatiya Janata Party that they seem to have done better than what they were doing. And I'm just going to wait for some more time. I was listening to yours, Rajdeep, and Preeti's
We all
analysis.
celebrate. No, but the fact is, did the Congress celebrate prematurely in Haryana? Because clearly the Congress seemed to believe that this was a done deal. It was only talk of 50, 60, 70. Now you've got a situation where you're even going to struggle to reach 45. And the fact is, many of these others could well be BJP rebels. So the BJP, even at 40, could form a government. Remember, INLD also has 3 at the moment. They could also join hands with the BJP. You need 45. The BJP perhaps only needs 40.
So I saw the couple of independence names. So those are even Steven. I think Chitta Swara is leading in one of those seats. And so it's very difficult for me to predict what the independents are going to do. That won't be fair. But I sincerely believe that some of these trends, I saw Katal seat, they were trailing by 400, then they're trailing by 1,000. So it is a, but by simple logic, Rajdeep, if it's the 42%, 42%, 43% vote share, those 4% vote share should have a significant impact in terms of seats. Unless the seats which you are winning with huge margins. One second.
But Dr. Ajoy Kumar, the fact is, this was supposed to be an election that was the Congress's election. Now, what went wrong? One of the biggest factors, many would suggest, was infighting. Look at the political landscape right now. Where the Congress is actually doing well is the SC vote, the Dalit vote. The Heartland, where apparently was supposed to be a Hooda wave, where the Hoodas were to be strong in, the Jatland, there at least as of now, the Congress is doing way lesser than what was expected. Could that dynamics between a Kumari Shelja, a Bhupinder Hooda been sorted out? Because that war played out very uglily out in the open.
Look, again, very early, very difficult for me to sit on a TV channel and analyze based on what you guys are saying. I understand what the fact is that we should be doing much better on those Jat-dominated seats for sure. Doing very well in SC seats is also an indication of what's happening in terms of the vote base and all. So that's a fact of life. I mean, I don't know how the trends are, but the important part is, I think there are 13 or 14 rounds still left for us to count. The margins in the seats are even distributed evenly between the two parties. 500 to 1,000, what Rahul was saying it. My little piece of, as a student of politics, is that if you're at 42%, or 42%, 43%, those numbers, unless you're winning greatly in all those seats, some seats you win a lot of percentage of votes, and just indulge me for a second. In case you get huge leads in all the seats, then those 42% may be skewed. I mean, you might get lesser vote percentage and still win. But if
but
the big story at this time, though, is that the Congress is now down to 34 leads. The BJP is at 48. I want to go across to Ajay, who's joining us at this time. This is very good news from the BJP's perspective. If after 10 years and all the anti-incumbency and everything else that Rajdeep and Preeti said about the BJP's performance in the last 10 years, the BJP ends up in front or puts up this kind of a fight, it leaves the Congress with a lot of humble pie to eat.
You also said it. Now suddenly turning around and
I'm
saying
not saying anything. I'm just saying that let's take a look at what Ajay Alok is saying. Ajay.
Well, I was with you guys 2 days back on the days of the exit poll, and I said, what a wishful thinking. I guess this trend shows the beginning of the end of those wishful thinking you had on that 6th of October. Let's see, let's finalize the result. But this trend itself stamps the signature of development, peace and prosperity, and the kind of faith the people have in the governance of the BJP. It just marks the signature of the people's verdict. If the verdict is like this, it's being reflected in the ongoing trends, then it marks the verdict of the people in anti-mood of, the Hooda Congress, the so-called family politics, the so-called the politics of corruption and everything to sum up. But I'd like to wait for another 1 or 2 hours so that this should crystallize.
But it also shows the advantages of tactical management. It's not just the big picture. Yeah, it's not just the big picture. It's also a lot of management on the ground, which is what seems to have brought the Congress at this moment down to 34 leads and the BJP at 48. If this is the way it ends, then the Congress was Hawa mein and the BJP was Zameen par.
See, Rahul, the gross difference between Congress and the BJP is that the BJP Karyakartas are always on the ground, whether election or no election. Whether on the broken street or on the running highway. The BJP Karyakartas are always on the ground, looking for how to improve things till the last moment. We give it everything. I still don't want to comment further. I like to wait for another hour. But one thing for sure, the wishful thinking is beginning to end. Right, Ranjit?
No, I think it's not just that. If these numbers hold the pollsters who already suffered a blow, the strategists
I would like
who
them to
suffered a
dance on
blow.
your floor. According
That's
to your
right.
agreement of clause 37B or something, what Rahul was saying, he must dance on the floor.
No, the fact is, all pollsters, all strategists, all reporters who went on the ground said that the BJP
Can we
was losing
listen to
this
Bhupender
election.
Hooda? Just one second. Bhupender Hooda.
What is your response on this election?
जो रुझान आ रहे हैं उसके अनुसार कांग्रेस की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
बीजेपी की तरफ नजर आ रहा है।
नहीं वो तो अभी 2 राउंड 3 राउंड हुए हैं। वो जितने रिपोर्ट जाती है उतने सारा जो खबर आई है कांग्रेस की बहुमत आ रही है।
10 साल के बाद क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी उत्तर भारत में वापसी कर रही है? 10 साल के बाद?
हाँ
10 साल के बाद क्या
कांग्रेस की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
जो ट्रेंड सर चल रहे हैं उसमें बीजेपी खेमे से कहा जा रहा है कि बढ़त बनाएंगे।
कहीं नहीं बढ़त बनेगी। आप देखना नतीजा है कांग्रेस का जो ट्रेंड आ रहा है वहाँ कांग्रेस का ज्यादा बहुमत आ रहा है।
हजारों लोग नारा लगा रहे हैं भूपेंद्र सिंह हुड्डा जिंदाबाद मुख्यमंत्री के तौर पर आपको देखना चाहते हैं।
ये पार्टी फैसला करती है।
हुड्डा साहब बड़े बीजेपी के बड़े लीडर जो है पिछड़ते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। बीजेपी के बड़े लीडर पिछड़ते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं।
कांग्रेस की सरकार बनने जा रही है भाई।
सर आपको किसी अलायंस की जरूरत पड़ेगी या कांग्रेस एबल टू?
नहीं कांग्रेस अपनी मेजोरिटी लाएगी।
सर फुल फ्लैग मेजॉरिटी वाली कांग्रेस की सरकार बनेगी, पूरी उम्मीद है आपको?
हाँ कह तो जगह कितनी बार कहना।
सर क्रेडिट गोज टू राहुल गांधी एंड भूपेंद्र सिंह हुड्डा जी ओनली।
क्रेडिट गोज टू पार्टी, राहुल गांधी जी, मल्लिका खड़गे जी, प्रियंका जी, all leaders of the Congress.
So what's your
and real credit goes to the people of Haryana.
What will be your priority, sir, after the fall government? What will be your priority?
How many questions will you ask? You ask one question. There are others also.
सर काफी रुझानों में क्लोज कंटेस्ट नजर आ रहा है, ऐसा एक्सपेक्टेड था क्या?
नहीं था, जहाँ कहीं क्लोज है कहीं है, लेकिन कांग्रेस इज गेटिंग मेजोरिटी।
सर आपके लिए नतीजे आने वाले हैं, जो नतीजे अभी दिख रहे हैं?
नतीजे मेरे को मालूम है कांग्रेस की सरकार बनने जा रही है। अरे नहीं जलेबी खुआ सबने।
ठीक है सर बंदे
हो गया बेटा अभी ऐसे जो तुम देख बैठे हो।
And mannerisms are anything to go by, Rahul Verma.
I think so.
That looks like somebody who knows that this morning hasn't gone the way they would have wanted. 34 versus 48. Bhupinder Singh Hooda, hawa udi hai wahi.
Yeah, he didn't look like a man who's a winner. He didn't look like a winner at the moment.
Absolutely. And I think with this kind of trend, now it would be hard for Congress to get a simple majority.
And also remember the others include a few BJP rebels, the likes of Savitri
No,
Jindal.
in this,
So,
it's not
the
even just the
BJP
others.
is actually with those rebels around 50.
But Rajdeep, it's not even the others, because right now, not that the BJP needs others, but look at the 3 INLD. They will immediately go to the BJP. In the others, you have a Gopal Kanda, you have a Savitri Jindal, then from Punri, then from Guhana, the ones who are leading, all of them are candidates put forth by the Bharatiya Janata Party. They're all going to go to the BJP.
But remember, the Congress is banking on a higher vote share. They have higher vote share. But Rahul Verma, try and explain why that means very little, because you can have higher vote share dispersed across the state, whereas the BJP with a lower vote share concentrated on key seats still ensures that they potentially end up with a higher tally.
There are many such states with examples where BJP gets lower vote share but gets higher seat share. Karnataka is a classic case because in southern Karnataka,
Rajasthan
BJP,
as well.
Rajasthan also. So there are many such places where even lower vote share can result in a higher seat tally. And this is what seemed to be happening. Perhaps there is a region in Haryana where BJP is not getting both votes and seats, but there are other regions where even a smaller sort of like vote share is leading them to get seats.
You know, I think what is very clear in the regions is that you're seeing, for example, the Ahirwal belt. More than 60% live here in urban areas. Complete domination by the BJP. The BJP is sweeping areas from Gurugram, stretching all the way across the Mewat region. So that's the big 20-7 at the moment to the BJP. You look at Kurukshetra, and here the Congress is ahead, 14-11. This was an area where last time the BJP was ahead. But the story of this election at the moment is in Jatland, where possibly whether the role of the independents who took away the Congress vote or just a counter polarization 10-5. This will decide, I think, what happens in the end. In Bagar, on the other hand, it's close whether Congress is leading 10-5.
How do you explain counter polarization, Rajdeep, where on certain seats in the Jatland, the Jat majority in places over 70%?
Sure.
So you cannot explain counter polarization. This is the area where the plan of the BJP of fielding enough strong independent Jat candidates has worked.
Yeah, we'll have to see whether that actually holds. Remember, as of now, that is the explanation, Preeti, where either it's counter consolidation of a kind wherein there has been chappat phadke voting of non-Jat castes on one side. That has also happened, or the Jat vote has also got splintered with independents.
Vinesh Phogat is currently leading with just 345 votes in Julana on the Congress ticket. Shruti Chaudhary of the BJP is currently leading in Tosham. Savitri Jindal, Naveen Jindal's mother, currently leading as an independent candidate in Hisar. Abhay Chautala currently leading in Elanabad. Aditya Surjewala, Randeep Surjewala's son, is currently trailing in Kaithal. Anil Vij is trailing at this moment in Ambala Kant. Bhavya Bishnoi, Kuldeep Bishnoi's son in Adampur on a BJP ticket, is trailing. Chandar Mohan in Panchkula is leading on a Congress ticket. You've got Dushyant Chautala currently trailing on a JJP ticket in Uchana Kalan. Gopal Kanda trails in Sirsa. Chiranjeev Rao in Rewadi on a Congress ticket is trailing. Nayab Singh Saini in Ladwa is leading. Digvijay Singh Chautala in Dabwali on a JJP ticket is currently trailing. So those are, it's Jammu-Kashmir that is looking settled, and it is Haryana where now the Congress is up at 37, the BJP from 48 at 45. So it's Haryana that will keep us in this race, in this game. And who said anything about elections being boring or predictable or one-sided? This is as close, Rajdeep, as close can be.
The only thing that Congress is holding on to, a Congress leader pointed out to me just now, is see our vote share. And his claim is, with this vote share, Jatland will turn, is what his hope is. But I think he's clutching at hope. It is, of course, 8 seats, so it requires a 4-seat swing, which is not much given the number of marginal seats.
But remember, even if it is 42-44, it's advantage BJP.
I think the BJP forms a government at 40. Let's be clear. BJP forms a government at 40. The Congress will need 44 minimum, if not 45. So I think that's the other advantage that the BJP has over the Congress. But this election is those seats of the Jat areas, the 37 seats of Jat majority. If the Congress cannot get a majority of those seats, I think the BJP has the advantage, because in Ahirwal, it's very clear those are strong leads now for the BJP. So the BJP has some very strong leads that are consolidating at the moment.
Consider Nayab Singh Saini. I mean, what an awesome day that he's been having.
Oh,
I mean, he was pitted up against all odds that he would never come back, and he's barely seen chair properly. He has never enjoyed the comforts of being the chief minister, perhaps. And there you see fortunes turn in minutes. And
if this is what the numbers hold, then this is a victory for Nayab Singh Saini.
Oh, huge victory.
This has happened under the banner of Nayab Singh Saini, where Haryana is concerned, and Rajdeep.
And also give credit to Amit Shah and Narendra Modi.
Yes.
Amit Shah in particular. Amit Shah is the one who played this politics of ensuring lots of candidates, put in the independents, split the anti-incumbency vote. If these numbers hold, you know, after the Lok Sabha setback of sorts, this is a huge victory, and then all our calculations of who has the momentum going into Maharashtra and Jharkhand.
Also on Bhupinder Singh Hooda's leadership, where Haryana is concerned.
Huge
And
question.
as far as narratives go, it really busts the Congress's myth and bubble that they were back, that Maharashtra and Jharkhand are a done deal. If after 10 years of anti-incumbency and all the problems the BJP faced in Haryana, they can pull it off against the Congress, then they'll think Maharashtra, here we come, Jharkhand, here we come. So the narrative changes very, very dramatically. Guru Prakash Paswan, national spokesperson of the BJP, joins us. The Congress was celebrating Deepavali early in the morning. There were crackers and there were doles. It seems it's the BJP's turn to celebrate now in Haryana.
No, certainly, Rahul. And like you said, it is going to be a massive confidence booster for our Karyakartas in upcoming Maharashtra and Jharkhand polls, which is my adjoining state. So whatever happened in the morning and what's happening now, it's a massive, massive transformation. And the credit goes to our Karyakartas, our state leadership, our senior leadership, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, who is our election in charge in the state of Haryana. So I think it's a big, big, big confidence booster for all of us, for the Bharatiya Janata Party cadres. And it also reflects, Rahul, in a sense, the lack of imagination in the Congress camp. The entire election, we saw the tussle between Kumari Shelja, Bhupinder Singh Hooda, and on the one hand, we see people of Haryana reposing their faith once again in the leadership of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And I think, if you can correct me if I am wrong, that it is happening for the first time that a government is going to be repeated in Haryana after 10 years of service. You see, this is what the problem with the Congress party, the focus on one family, the focus on one caste, the focus on one community, whereas the Bharatiya Janata Party, strategically, the Bharatiya Janata Party, as per following the vision, we worked for all the communities. There were leadership, there were representation, there were welfare mechanism covering every single community. So I think with the Election Commission of India website showing a 10-seat lead, it's open in front of me. It's a clear-cut win. It's a clear-cut people's faith in the leadership, in the politics and the policies of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and we look forward to it.
You know, there were lots of people who came, Guru Prakash Paswan earlier, saying that this is a blow to brand Modi, that this is the end, and it cements the decline of brand Modi with the BJP at 46 and the Congress at 36. All those prognoses will need to be tossed out of the window.
No, Rahul, yesterday you and Rajdeep tweeted about how Prime Minister Modi, as Chief Minister and as Prime Minister, has completed 23 years in office. And I think that is something phenomenal. You can disagree with him, you can have different point of views, but as a person who has led from the front as the Chief Minister of Gujarat first and as the Prime Minister of India, 23 years as a head of state, respectively in Gujarat and nationally, that speaks a lot. In a vibrant and an active democracy like India, a person who has sustained, a person who has survived, and a person who still inspires. That means a lot. And I think we are thankful, we are fortunate, we are privileged to have such a great leadership who can lead from the front, come what may. Haryana, every one of you, every single survey, every single exit poll suggested that it is going to be a tough day for all of us today. But 46-36, and it is constantly fluctuating. We see a comfortable, clear majority.
No, but did the BJP expect?
And like I said,
is this beyond your expectation as well? Because in the morning we thought the BJP, the crackers were being burst in the Congress office and the BJP was staying quiet. Is this something that you all expected, or has this surprised you as well?
No. Rajdeep ji, you are a senior journalist. कोई भी election हो, be it a panchayat poll, a parliament poll, a Vidhan Sabha poll, we fight each and every election with a lot of passion, with a lot of enthusiasm. For us, any election is a matter of pride. For our Karyakartas, every single election, you could see that we are ongoing with our Sadasyata Abhiyan, which is a massive membership campaign. But regardless of that, every election is of equal significance. Every election we consider of consequence in the Bharatiya Janata Party, and we gave our best. We gave all there were Karyakartas from across the country who went to Haryana. We have Pravasi Karyakarta meetings which were happening. We have specific community outreach. We have people who articulated the vision, the development, the infrastructure of the Haryana under the BJP and before the BJP. So I think it's a cumulative effort. It's a cumulative effect of all the Karyakartas who were dedicated for the last 2 months in Haryana, Rajdeep ji. And for us, it was not a matter of surprise at all.
Haryana has to be the most confounding state for pollsters. Rahul Verma, in 2019, soon after India witnessed the peak of the Modi wave when they ended up with 303 seats, the BJP lost 21% vote share in the assembly elections that followed soon after. Here, where the BJP came down from 303 to 240, after that, the BJP's vote share in Haryana has actually gone up. So you're like, oh my God, what are these Haryanvis doing in terms of how they're going out and expressing their franchise?
So I think, I don't want to harp on the bipolarity logic, but what seems to be happening is that third party and smaller players are getting squeezed. And in that sense, even Congress is gaining, right? So both Congress and BJP are gaining, which means that smaller parties and independents are getting squeezed. Congress is gaining largely the Jat votes of JJP, and BJP is gaining the non-Jat votes of the smaller parties. This is what is leading to basically parties gaining votes, but seat distribution.
Now I've got a Congress leader again clutching at straws, saying that the rounds that are done are largely of urban votes. You're not catching the rural votes. The rural votes will come and then the thing will swing. I think they're clutching at straws at the moment. I think there is a Congress strategist who has admitted we will be close to a majority. Now here is someone who told me that we will be 2/3. He's now talking of close to a majority.
But Rajdeep, I want to ask Amitabh ji, because if you now look at what the result was in Lok Sabha 2024, this actually mirrors that.
Somewhat.
This actually mirrors that. Well. Exactly what the Lok Sabha
BJP
election
is doing well.
BJP is doing better.
And others are gaining at the expense of Congress, if you compare to the Lok Sabha results. But on the Election Commission website, if you see, across seats, only 2 to 3 rounds have been counted.
No, but also
only 2-3 rounds.
Also look at the fact that there are now only 5 seats.
16 to 18.
Only 5 seats where the margin is less than 500 votes. So the election's also opening up. It's not as tight
How
as
many
it was.
below 1,000 rounds?
So 5 seats
13
where the
seats below
margin
1,000.
is less than 500 votes.
On the Election
Congress is
Commission
leading on 2. The BJP is leading on 3. If I look at the number of seats where the margin is less than 1,000, it's only 16 seats. So this election is opening up. It's settling down. Congress leading on 8, the BJP leading on 8. What an even distribution reflects is that the chance of this now getting skewed in either direction is reducing. So if this is the trend that appears, I'll take you through to the seats where the margin is less than 3,000. There are 50 such seats. The BJP leading on 28, the Congress on 19. But more consequential would be the seats where the margin is less than 1,000 votes, where it seems to be very evenly distributed. Rahul Verma, try and put this in a statistical framework for us. If the distribution is even 8 versus 9, it would suggest that now if you're expecting for a massive reversal, it may inch closer, but a massive reversal is most likely quite unlikely now.
Yes, and the reason is because the marginal seats are equally sort of distributed. If it was in one way, then you could see that this party losing seats is going to the other way. But given that there is an equal distribution, I think even when we have just 2 to 3 rounds counted, this is a good signal where the election is heading. The reversal is possible, but the chances of that happening is now lower.
Unless, of course, the counting is such that there are wild variations in the rounds, which typically doesn't happen.
Just a point. In Lok Sabha, this is almost mirroring Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha, if you see, 44 seats were led by the BJP, 42 by the Congress, right? You're virtually ending up in a similar situation as the Lok Sabha. So whatever happened, I mean, the one who will be celebrating as a moment, looking at this is my friend Gopal Kanda. Now again I say friend, you'll say why friend? But these are people who I have sort of interviewed over the years. I call them friends.
Why not your friend Abhay Chautala?
Abhay Chautala, all of them, the 2 seats of INLD, because even at 42, the independents get into play. You're looking, the Congress needs a 6 to 7 seat shift. Not easy at the moment, not impossible.
The Congress needs at least 44, Rajdeep.
The Congress, so that's why I said a 6 to 7 seats shift.
Dushyant Chautala in Uchana Kala is coming 6th. At this time, he's coming 6th.
So the INLD is doing better than the JJP. INLD is doing better than the JJP in their Sirsa belt. They're doing better. But, JJP is getting wiped out. But the wipeout of the JJP is not benefiting the Congress necessarily. Because in those areas, it is the BJP.
Because Rajdeep, it comes back to that same question. This was possibly an anti-incumbency vote election, not a pro-Congress election.
Right.
And what has happened is that every other player, be it the small independents, they have chipped away slowly at the anti-incumbent.
And I think there needs to be a Dalit analysis also to be done, because Congress is very heavily banking that all the Dalits are now gravitating towards the Congress, and this is a big sort of a central theme that Rahul Gandhi is running with.
No, so but in Haryana, the Valmiki's are with the BJP.
If I look at the 30
Bhupinder Singh Hooda is leading by a big margin now, 17,000 votes. So he's leading in Gadi Sampla where he was trailing.
If you look at the 30 Dalit-dominated seats, not just the reserved seats, but the Dalit-dominated seats of Haryana, the Congress is leading on 19 of those, up 10 from the last time. The BJP is leading on 11 of those, up 1 from the last time. The problem for the Congress seems to be in the Jat-dominated seats. Seats which they were taking almost for granted कि ये तो हमारी ही हैं. There, in the 36 Jat-dominated, by dominated I mean that the community is in the position to be able to influence the end outcome with 20% and more representation. There, the BJP is leading on 19 such seats, up 7 from the last time. The Congress is leading on 15 such seats, up 2 from the last time. This is where the election in Haryana seems to have turned. Amitabh Tiwari, the Congress was taking these seats for granted.
In Lok Sabha elections, Congress was leading on 27 of these seats.
The
and
Jat-dominated
BJP only
seats.
on 10. Correct. So they had swept the Jat land. So most of the seats which Congress was leading on in Lok Sabha, 27 out of 42 were coming from the Jat land.
Jat
And
land-
here perhaps the smaller parties, independent, 17, 18.
The spoiler in the Jatland is exactly
Yeah,
that.
the
It's
smaller
exactly
parties
that.
are probably spoiling the chances of Congress in the Jatland, whereas the JJP's vote is shifting towards the Congress, but that is predominantly only in one region, which is Hisar. Otherwise, in other
I'll
regions,
show
that
you
is
the
not
new
benefiting
power map of
significantly.
Haryana, looking very different from the way that it did at 9 a.m. Now, if you see Haryana, southern Haryana, eastern Haryana, very strongly saffron. It's northern Haryana, which is looking blue. And that's how things have changed. The greens have come down. The greens have shrunk. The JJP, which had 10, now at 0. The INLD is at 2. But in central Haryana, there's a very strong saffron surge which can be seen. If you look at the vote shares for Haryana, here again, the battle is very, very tight. The Congress had 28% vote share last time, this time 41. The BJP had 37% vote share, this time 39, up 2. So this election has turned, and this is to the BJP's huge credit, Rajat. You know, even you weren't willing to think that the BJP might win in Haryana, but I remember going to Parliament, sitting with Dharmendra Pradhan and Biplab Deb, and they said, boss, aap logon ko kuch nahi aata, aapko kuch nahi pata, dekh lena hum jeetenge. And I thought, naturally, as Prabhari of the state, what else is the guy going to say? He's going to say he's going to win. But if this is how they've pulled off, then hats off to Dharmendra Pradhan and to Biplab Deb and to Amit Shah for having pulled off one of the most remarkable victories. 10 years of anti-incumbency, 2 terms of being in power, and yet being able to best the Congress is a very big victory,
The first time that any government has consecutively come to power the third time round. If it happens.
This will go down in history books, this election, as a classic case study on how vote share distribution matters more than vote share alone. How, very silent reverse consolidation happens, not typically captured by the more vocal voters of a constituency, where there are silent voters quietly coming in and voting. Also keep in mind that the vote share, the polling percentage was lower. It was just 68% lower than, historical trends in Haryana, which also indicates that Congress was maybe not able to, unleash the kind of voter fury which would have reflected in a much higher polling percentages. BJP ensured that the temperatures on the ground remain more calmer, not as heated up as the Congress would have anticipated. And I think it's a classic case of slip between cup and the lip for the Congress party. They started rejoicing of a potential victory way too early, the way they did in Chhattisgarh, and I think they have to be humble by it.
You mentioned Chhattisgarh, which is perhaps the closest to what is happening now, because there again the Congress was celebrating almost as if it had won the election, and they just needed to come and contest, and the election was done. The micromanagement of the BJP, if these elections hold, the ability to be able to go constituency by constituency, region by region, versus the Congress, which sort of put all its eggs in Huda's basket. This could be the end of, if these numbers hold.
It'll be end of his career.
It'll be the end of Bhupinder Singh Huda's career, because this was the last election in a way at 77.
It will be reconsolidation of the Congress in Haryana if these results hold.
No, the Congress, forget about reconsolidation. It will push the Congress several steps back, because
You will need to think of a new formula. Number one, where the Congress is concerned, if these numbers hold. The likes of Kumari Shelja, who you removed, because, if you look at the Dalit vote, it's still supporting the Congress right now, at least with these figures.
No, and the role of paroles.
Randeep Singh Surjewala's son is trailing at the moment in Kaithal.
And remember, Rajdeep, the role of paroles in elections. Baba Ram Rahim getting parole at the right time, sending out a message to vote for the BJP in a tight election. Every vote matters, and when the gap is only 2%, every Baba on parole is useful.
Yeah, that's not a great thing for any party to do, to have someone. But I think at the end of the day, the BJP has done Sam Dam, done Bhed, you could argue in that sense. But the fact is that they saw opportunity when nobody else did. Pollsters didn't. Reporters didn't. Strategy. I have yet to meet one person who told me BJP is winning. You know, people said BJP. You know, I'm trying to think. Somebody, you know, who covers the BJP said no. BJP leader also yesterday said they're winning. They said they're in the fight. But nobody said they're winning, and everyone uniformly.
But this is the second time this has happened. Remember, this happened last in Chhattisgarh, where against the whole Congress ecosystem was 100% certain कि छत्तीसगढ़ तो जीत ही रहे, मध्य प्रदेश क्या पता जीत जाए, Rajasthan is tough.
Exactly.
In exactly the same fashion, whether it's the overconfidence or the hubris, has put them under stress, where the BJP seems on the verge of pulling off a remarkable victory, Rajdeep.
And the flip of it is Jammu and Kashmir, which we thought will be very tight. We'll see the NC Congress has reason to smile, but that's, you know, for the Congress party in particular, this will be a bad day in the office, terrible day, going ahead to Maharashtra and Jharkhand. For the BJP, which 5 months ago felt that, you know, they didn't get the 300 plus that they wanted, this will be seen as a huge sign that the BJP is back in business and very strong in the states.
The wife of one of the top union ministers, you know, we were just chatting with her and she said, you know, in politics in 1 hour things can change. Between 9 a.m. on the 4th of June and 10 a.m. things change and the whole narrative, she says, changed. It's the same for Haryana. Now, what happens in Haryana will have a consequence in Maharashtra and Jharkhand. In a matter of an hour and a half, the whole narrative has changed. If the Congress can't win Haryana against the BJP in the kind of condition the BJP was in, then Maharashtra is game on from the BJP's perspective.
Rajdeep, with what you say, but this is actually strangely coming in from a BJP leader in Haryana, because I was, you know, I told him that he's doing really well. He's saying, "Abhi ruk jaiye, sirf 20,000 vote count हुए हैं 1,40,000 में से." This is coming in from a BJP guy.
You know, look, that being said, what is very clear is what was all the
trend is
pollsters,
there.
You know, the trend of a one-sided election is a kaate ki takkar. Whether it goes now one way or the other, whether 5 seats swing, the two end up around the 40s, both, all of that aside. The truth of the matter is the BJP has done a solid comeback in Haryana. I use the word comeback because they were written off. So a party which is written off is making a solid comeback. So whether the numbers are much closer eventually will depend.
But why is the counting so slow? Usually by this time...
Why are you Haryanvis so slow counters? I thought you guys moved quickly.
It's all on machines right now. We're not sitting and counting votes.
Way too sort of like now do a reverse thing in Haryana, which is rather than looking at marginal seats, can you look at seats where parties are leading? Because that will give you a picture of what percentage of seats are getting
That's
clearer.
a very important point that Rahul Verma makes. Let's take a look at the seats which now seem quite settled, and I'll pick seats where the gap is more than 10,000. If the gap is more than 10,000, to my mind, now that seat turning is very difficult. At this moment, there are 83 seats out of 90 where the gap is more than 10,000.
Less than 10,000. No, sorry, Rahul, this is less than 10,000.
Let's look at the seats where the gap is more than 25. Let's look at the gap where the gap... So there are only one seats.
Choose 5,000, Rahul. 5,000 may be fair.
No, but this is again less than 5,000.
Okay.
So less than 5,000 won't help because there are 66 seats where the gap is less than 5,000. The BJP is leading on 34. The Congress is leading on 27. So there the BJP has that advantage. But remember, the seats that can turn, frankly, are the seats where the gap is less than 1,000. If you look at the seats where the gap is less than 1,000, there are 12 such seats. And those are evenly split between the Congress and the BJP, 6 versus 6.
You see, the only question is how many rounds are done. If it is only 5 rounds out of 18 to 20...
So this is a BJP leader who's leading and he's saying... And he's not accepting any congratulations from anyone. He's saying सिर्फ 20,000 count हुई हैं, 1,40,000 है.
No, but also spend a moment thinking of the Aam Aadmi Party in Haryana. You know, so much was said, Kejriwal, Haryana ka ladka, he'll go and campaign, he didn't want to do this. Now, if this is the way it ends up, questions will be asked, Rajdeep, later about whether it would have made more sense for the AAP and the Congress to campaign together. Maybe it would have not added too much in terms of seat share, but a few extra votes. AAP hasn't got any lead at this moment. 0 is what they have at this moment. The Congress struggling at 36. If they had potentially allied, it may have made things slightly different and slightly better.
But it wasn't of the Congress. Aam Aadmi Party is choosing.
Sure, but both sides. I mean, they couldn't make it happen.
I think, you know, what we saw in Chhattisgarh, for example, the BJP putting up a lot of independents, propping up a lot of smaller parties. We saw that in Haryana. On the other hand, the Congress was so confident, Rahul, that they were going to win this election. Even when the Aam Aadmi Party wanted 5, they said, Acha, even if we give you 5, we will give you the 5 seats where you're losing. You didn't want to give them the winning seats. So you see, this you see, the Congress's biggest flaw always is ever since the Lok Sabha elections, they got 233 as an alliance, 99 to the Congress. They think they've got 272.
No,
the BJP, on the other hand, even after getting 240, is probably saying, "Yaar, ab chunav aur ek hai, use jeetna hai." There's still a difference in the way the BJP approaches an election to the way the Congress. All of this I'm saying, at this moment, it could still turn. There could still be 5 or 10 seats here and there. But the fact of the matter is the BJP has put up a remarkable performance in Haryana, irrespective
But
of
the
what
Aam
happens at
Aadmi
the
Party, whatever the result is, Rajdeep, will be looking at this saying, "I told you so." Because even, but you know, word coming in on certain seats, the Aam Aadmi Party is even polled less than Nota. You know, if you look at the fine print there, they have done quite badly in certain seats. But this will have a bearing on the Delhi elections now, Rajdeep. You cannot be overconfident, both for the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress.
But look at the chatter that was coming in from Congress. They were counting the eggs before the, it was hatched. And look at the deliberations. Kumari Shalja's only deliberation was like, who will become a CM and who will become a deputy CM. They started like,
no, but hubris is dangerous for all parties. The BJP was convinced 400 par in the Lok Sabha elections. That proved to be their undoing. The Congress was concerned, Andhi, Tufan, Tsunami, that's all that matters, nothing else matters. Now they're ending up at 36. So hubris is very, very dangerous.
You know, also, Rahul, I think elections at the local state level are very different to Lok Sabha. You know, elections at the state level are so localized increasingly. People say, "Mera candidate kaun hai?" Haryana we thought was different, but even Haryana is proving that every constituency has candidates who can pull in 1,000, 2,000. I mentioned this about Maharashtra. Independents and those who don't get the tickets from the major parties are people who can pull in 5,000, 6,000 votes. So you've actually got a situation, even amidst the bipolarity, in a localized state election, you have to do micromanagement. The Congress will have to ask, did you do, you know what happened in the Congress meeting, Rahul? Virtually the entire state was outsourced to the Huddas to decide on tickets. Kumari Shelja got 5 or 6?
9.
Chalo 9, you could argue 6 or 9.
Yeah.
Randeep Surjewala got he wanted to contest himself, but they said 3, including his son. Effectively, about 70 to 72 seats were decided by Mr. Hudda. Then, because your pollsters
6
said
were
that you're
directly
winning
by
big,
Gandhis. 6 were Gandhis.
yes, the
6 candidates were
so
given by
basically
Gandhis.
about 70 out of 90. Once your pollsters said you're winning, you thought, chalo yaar, put all your eggs in Hudda's basket. Now, was that wise strategy in the end? Could you have run a more collective leadership? Could you have given Kumari Shelja a greater share? All these questions will have to be asked if these numbers hold. I mean, the Congress will have wiped out all the benefits they had from their Lok Sabha performance if these numbers hold. You're going into Maharashtra with a relatively demoralized Congress if these numbers hold, and an upbeat BJP once again.
But you know, look at Mahavikas Aghadi. It's a clear lesson for them. They are only debating on who will be the chief minister.
Exactly.
See, now, that's a wasteful debate. I mean, this is not people's concerns, people issues as to who will be the chief minister. It's like putting a united stand together and, you know, removing the differences. Otherwise, every single thing is going to really bite them. And I think BJP has an advantage here.
What happens when we are analyzing others is that we look at the vote share and the seat share. But we have to look at the statistic, which is in how many seats others spoiled the chances of the winner or the runner-up, which is when others score more than the victory margin. In Haryana, it has always been more than 45 seats.
And that's what's happening here.
And it could also be in concentrated regions, right? And that could
वो
also...
आपको दिखता नहीं है कि भाई others को seats नहीं आई, votes नहीं आई.
No, but the other big difference...
spoiled the chances of somebody.
The other difference is that in Karnataka, Siddaramaiah and Shiv Kumar, for all their differences, would fight at night.
Absolutely
but in the morning, work towards a common purpose.
Common goal.
They were able to come together for the larger cause. In Haryana, the relationship between the Huddas and Shelja was so bad, and even Surjewala, that they didn't even work together. They were almost looking in opposite directions and, "Theek hai, tu apna kar le, dekh lenge baad mein." So they didn't work towards a common cause, and I think 36 reflects that.
Didn't even speak to each other, because I think your channel only, Lallan
Kumari
asked
Shelja
Kumari
said that.
Shelja, when did she last speak to Huda? She did not have the answer.
You know, and that is precisely because, as I said, I think the mandate of 2024 Lok Sabha, 99 seats gave you a sense that we are 240 or we are 250. You're 99. You know, the Congress has to realize that every election is different from the other. You have to fight them distinctively. Even in Maharashtra, I've heard Congress leaders saying, we will be the single largest party, we'll get the chief ministership. Arey, chunav bhi nahi hua hai. Chunav shuru nahi hua hai, and Congress leaders in Maharashtra are talking about chief ministership. I think in Haryana,
But that changes. That changes. If this is the result, that hubris about Congress appointing a chief minister in Maharashtra is out of the window, first survive. You know, the reason that they did better than expected in Lok Sabha is because they weren't expecting to, and therefore they kind of, just below the radar crept over.
But it's bizarre. There is a web channel which is also tracking the election, which, Pranoy Roy has. And he, at 15 minutes ago, was giving Congress 55, BJP 29. So I don't know where these numbers are coming from on Decoder, which they have. The fact is that,
if you look at ECI, I think the trend is now in favor of BJP.
The ECI trend is the clear trend. The ECI trend is showing the BJP is ahead.
No,
and I think we should go by that.
The ECI trend already is much bigger than any exit poll or post-poll study.
Even, Yashwant was, his team is tracking it there. They too are now saying the BJP is ahead. So I think the BJP is certainly in that race, because being single largest will also become important. If I'm at 44, whoever is 44 can have, can get the independence on their side. We keep saying BJP needs 40.
No, and then the big winner of the day is Omar Abdullah, and the second big winner of the day is Nayab Saini and the BJP, because the Congress may end up in government in Jammu and Kashmir, but that's only riding pillion on the NC scooter. Whereas in Haryana, where they were in a direct fight, in a direct dangle with the BJP, it's the BJP that's bested them.
True. And what's also happening in Haryana, on ECI website, the vote share gap is closing. So what was 3% gap in favor of Congress is now less than 2. And slowly something which you and Yoginji were discussing, why the winner takes up larger seats, is when more and more votes are going to get counted, the margin with the bigger number is always higher. And so now that is going to translate in favor of BJP compared to what you were thinking in terms
of... So what you are saying, this is interesting, if the vote share is more or less even, the BJP is benefiting disproportionately at the moment, because they've gone up also in terms of vote share far more than the Congress has, and the Congress on the other hand, once it's an even vote share, then it's anybody's game, right? Up to now, we were saying because the Congress was 3% ahead, therefore the Congress might get a disproportionate number of seats as the votes are counted. That gap, if anything, you're saying is reducing, it's not widening. So clearly the BJP, with every round counted, is actually narrowing the gap rather than...
And has a higher probability of now keeping this...
So you see, I think this is the most fascinating election, because in the space of 2 hours from crackers, I would love to meet Pawan Kheda. We've got to get Pawan Kheda on the show today. He was crackers, laddus.
Now they can't say EVM mein jhol hai.
That's
now
right.
They can't even say, after having already burst the crackers and had the sweets, now they can't say Amit Shah and Modi have fixed the election.
And you see others in JNK now, 10, almost 10 now.
Okay, so we
JNK
can
is
take
also
a look
turning
at
into a story.
If we take a look at Jammu and Kashmir, because the big turnaround in Haryana meant that Jammu Kashmir went out of the headlines just for a moment. 9 leads for the others. This includes 7 independents and 2 People's Conference. So 2 for the People's Conference, Handwada being one of them and Bandipora being the other. So you've got a situation where Sajjad Lone is winning in Handwada. He's got 9,799 votes, People's Conference. And in Bandipora as well, you've got Usman Abdul Majid, who's currently leading. So those are the leads coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, where it seems very comfortable that the NC and the Congress will form the new government. Out of these 48 for the India Alliance, the Congress has 8, the NC 39. Remember, the Congress fought 32, so their strike rate is only 1 in 4, whereas the NC is at 39, clearly carrying the day. And the likes of Mamata Banerjee will turn around and say, this is the problem, Congress is the Kamzor Kadi.
If these numbers hold, I think, as I said, the Congress is the one which today is the big loser. You lose a state where you expected to win because of 10 years anti-incumbency. You piggyback, some would say, on the National Conference, which is doing strongly and therefore is proving that they have the organization, and they had it. You go to Kashmir, the Congress changed the Congress president just weeks before the election. Ghulam Ahmad Mir was dropped and Mr. Kada was brought in. He's winning his own seat. But that really shows, when you change your party president just weeks before the election, that something is wrong on the ground. In fact, Mr. Mir is in charge of Jharkhand. as a general secretary of the Congress. In Jammu, on the other hand, you didn't invest enough time in putting, sending a Priyanka. Why did you send a Priyanka Gandhi Vadra?
Rahul didn't campaign much in Jammu.
He hardly did.
And
Priyanka did one rally there.
If that's where you're putting up your maximum candidate, that's where you should campaign. This is really Omar Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah's victory.
And let's
Even
be clear.
in Haryana, Rajdeep, other than the last 3 days when Rahul Gandhi came in, Priyanka Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi practically gave Haryana to the Hoodas to even campaign. Who campaigned? You had a Sachin Pilot who campaigned in the Ahirwal region. You had a Dotasra who came in from Rajasthan. But the top leadership of the Congress saved the last 3 days. The dying hours of the election did not campaign.
No, but Rahul Gandhi did 3 or 4 yatras there. He did about 8 or 9 rallies. He can't now, you see, you can't say that Rahul Gandhi...
4 rallies.
Yeah, but that's not, the fact therefore is that Rahul Gandhi was expected to do more, right? He did a yatra. Did they take Haryana for granted? Then will be the question. Did they get overconfident? Or did they put all their eggs in the Huda basket and that has recoiled on them?
They didn't read the political landscape. This is something which I have to say. One local journalist from Jeend told me. And he says, कांग्रेस को ये समझ नहीं आ रही है कि कितने निर्दलीय खड़े हैं. उनको गिनती भी नहीं समझ में आ रही है. और ये अगर एक निर्दलीय 2000 वोट लेके जाता है, कांग्रेस 2000 वोट में इलेक्शन हारती है सीट पर.
There were lots of firecrackers, dolls at the Congress headquarters. Let's go back to Rahul Gautam and let's see what's happening at the Congress headquarters now. Congress leading only on 35. The BJP on 49, seeming to be heading towards forming a government once again in Haryana. Where are all the guys with the dolls and the firecrackers, Rahul?
Well, they all have disappeared, Rahul. I'll just show you the current scenario here at AICC. There are hardly any Congress workers now. There are a couple of spokespersons who are still here and engaging with the media persons, saying that they are still confident that Congress will come to power. But dolls, sweets, all sort of things that we saw early in the morning have gone now, and this clearly shows that how Congress at this point of time, I can tell to our viewers, is in panic mode. What numbers are playing at the screens now. Congress is obviously worried about the situation which is unfolding in Haryana. We've been informed that shortly from now, the 3 observers that were appointed by Congress party, Ashok Gehlot, Ajay Makan and Pratap Singh Bajwa, they are likely to go to Chandigarh in order to salvage the situation. So clearly, you can say that the party is over as far as Congress is concerned for Haryana, and clearly there is sort of a silence, which we are now witnessing here at AICC headquarters.
Okay, let me go to Dr. Shama Mohammed, National Spokesperson, Congress at the moment. Shama Mohammed, it's been quite a roller coaster, at the end of which it appears the BJP now pulling ahead of the Congress in Haryana. This is a bad day in the office for you if these numbers hold, because it means that the Congress is not even being able to take advantage of seeming anti-incumbency in Haryana. You all were bursting crackers 2 hours ago. The crackers have gone silent.
Rajdeep Sardesai, you're a very, very senior anchor and a journalist, along with Rahul and Preeti sitting there. You know that at 11 o'clock there are trends. The EC doesn't say anybody has won, they say leading and trailing. Now, Haryana is a small state. Each candidate's vote varies, the winner and the loser, sometimes between 2,000 to 3,000. So definitely by 12 we will get to know what exactly is the situation, and not now. And even right now only 20% of the votes have been counted. So how can we say that we are doing not well or not good? I'm telling you, by 12:30, Congress party will be having majority and we will be winning this election. I'm sure of it. I've been doing this for the last 10 years and I know by 11 nobody can know anything. It takes around 12:30 in a state like Haryana, where the difference is not much between the candidates when they win or lose.
You're saying that, but now the numbers have the trends at least have solidified in the last half hour or so, and there is a clear gap emerging. There was talk of an Andhi, tsunami, wave, all of that is being thrown out of the window.
Rajdeep, I was there in Haryana. Okay, I have been there, and when I went there, I felt for sure it's a tsunami. All different people, even the Bharatiya Janata Party people were admitting that it's going to be a tsunami for us. So then it is not, it's not a surprise, but something else if things go in the other way. See the Jawans, the Shingu border, the wall built over there, the Kisans from Punjab could not come this side. There's a lot of anger against Agniveer. There's a lot of anger on what what the Bharatiya Janata Party has done to Pahalwan. There is unemployment, and as you've seen, there was no photograph of Mr. Modi, or for that matter.
But Shama Mohammed,
even
all
Manohar
well and good,
Lalkar who ran
but
the state
no,
for
all
8
well and
years.
good. One could
When you
have
had an
accepted this argument if the numbers were reverse. If today, right now, Shama, if the Congress stood at 49 and the BJP at 35, which is the current trends, one could have accepted and actually argued that point of view that this is a referendum against the central schemes, be it Agniveer, farm protest or the wrestlers protest. But this doesn't look like that.
No, but again, Preeti, you're also a senior journalist. You know that the trends at 11 is not what is going to be at 12:31. I'm repeating it again and again. Haryana is a small state. Let's wait till 12. If you right now tell me, Shama, 30 of BJP candidates have won, then I will admit 40 BJP candidates have won, then I will admit there is something called leading and trailing. I have seen numerous times in my last 10 years where trailing has gone up to leading. And I am telling you right now, Preeti, we will win this election. Wait till 12 and then you talk to me.
No, we can wait till 12, ma'am, but either way, for a party... Ma'am, we can wait till 12 for either way for a party that was celebrating a victory at 9 a.m. with crackers. Did you all celebrate prematurely? Did overconfidence get the better of you?
See, you have to understand one thing, Rajdeep. There are people called the Karyakartas, all right? Karyakartas of every party celebrate feeling that they're going to win. We can't hold them back. They are our pillars. And I always respect my Karyakartas more than anybody else. I myself am a Karyakarta of this party. So different people have different ways of celebrating. Let them celebrate. It's fine. It's nothing wrong in it. But yes, what I certainly feel, I'm somebody who looks at the glass half full and not half empty. And I certainly believe, or what I experienced in Haryana when I traveled across, is that we are winning this election 110%. Wait, Rajdeep, have some patience and no need to keep saying, you guys are right now talking as if the Bharatiya Janata Party has won and what has gone wrong with the Congress. That is what I was listening to your discussion along with Rahul and Preeti. And the talk started, there was an issue with Kumari and there was an issue Kumari was not talking to Hooda, all those things. Anil Vij was not even talking to Saini. So there are issues there also. So let's wait. Why this hurry of declaring a victory before a victory has even been declared by the Election Commission of India?
No, but then it was not us, ma'am. You all were celebrating. You're saying Karyakartas were. Typically, though, there was a sense, Kaun Banega Mukhyamantri was the Congress's narrative instead of Kaise Jeetna Hai Chunav. For the last 2 weeks, all I've been hearing...
Can I also just point out that on an average, 4 to 5 rounds are done. There are 17 to 20 rounds. The 4 to 5 rounds of poll counting which has already happened is much bigger than any poll. Statistically, the trends are set. So if the Congress thinks they can end up at 49 and the BJP at 35, that aren't happening.
Yeah.
It can go up a little, this can come down a little, but the trend of the BJP likely ending up as the single largest party in Haryana is quite settled. And frankly, this is massively embarrassing for the Congress because after 10 years of anti-incumbency, if you still can't beat the BJP, this is Chhattisgarh all over. You are so confident that you are winning, and in the end, you haven't. I want to introduce Hasib Drab, who understands Jammu and Kashmir politics, has made the special effort of coming down to our studio. So thank you very much and welcome, sir. I want you to take our viewers through what's happening in Jammu and Kashmir, right? Because Haryana was supposed to be a clear verdict. Jammu Kashmir was supposed to be the Kante ki takkar. It seems Jammu Kashmir very comfortably settling towards Farooq Abdullah, Omar Abdullah and the Congress. 39-8 versus 28 for the BJP. How are you reading this verdict?
Pretty much expected. If you were to look at it from a valley-centric perspective or from J&K itself, also mirrors what we saw in the parliament. So there's a very clear divide now. But not that it has been in unison ever, but now it's much sharper with Jammu voting one way and the Valley voting another way. It was widely expected, particularly after what had happened in 2019, both in terms of the constitutional status and the statehood, it was expected that the Valley would vote one way. And
no, but what's also very important is that these, for example, the AIP, which had Engineer Rashid and the Jamaat candidates are leading only on one seat, which is the Rafiabad seat, and the others are on 8, which includes 2 for the People's Conference, none for the Apni party. So some of these smaller experiments seem to have come a cropper.
That's right. True in the parliament as well. Most of them lost the security deposit.
No, but Engineer Rashid won.
Yeah, Engineer Rashid was an exception at that point of time, that's right. But I think in terms of whether it's the Aam Aadmi, Apni party, or it's the
People's
Conference, or you see, the traction has never been built. So this was one of the things that was tried in the Valley, was to fragment the Valley votes. Right? So this is, you have to also understand that these are not comparable figures between what happened last time, because between last time and now, there is delimitation that has happened, right? So there's a rearrangement of constituency that has happened. Jammu has gained more seats than Valley has gained. So the smaller parties was basically a strategy to fragment the Valley votes, which could not have been fragmented through delimitation.
But the other trend, which is important, is that the fall in the vote share of the PDP is very apparent. The PDP, which had 26% of the vote share last time, has fallen by 18% down to only 8. The BJP is up to 27, up 7. The NC and the Congress are at 38. But this is the biggest fall in vote share that we've seen in these elections. It's a collapse of the PDP vote. You understand this party well. What do you think happened?
No, actually, I think PDP has done relatively well.
In what way? So you're down 18%?
No, you have to understand what happened after 2019.
Sure.
PDP was decimated. Out of the 10 cabinet ministers, 7 moved out, right? So nobody expected PDP to do perhaps more than 2 or 3 seats. Forget the vote share for a moment. But the entire party was decimated, and it goes to credit that at least if they're managing to win 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 seats and retain an 8% share, 2 months back, 3 months back was inconceivable. So they have done well compared to where they were post-2019. Vis-a-vis 2014, yes, there is a thing, but that was a different era.
But in these numbers, do you think the PDP will ally with the NC and the Congress? Because they don't need. 48 is the majority, even if I include 5 LG-nominated members.
Yes.
So the NC Congress at this moment have a majority. Would they want to take these 5 PDP members in your view or not?
Well, we are getting conflicting signals from Dr. Abdullah and Omar. Perhaps a little premature on part of Dr. Abdullah, but there has been a general sense that PDP would support, even if it's not required.
But the sense is that while PDP may support, now you don't need PDP in your government. With these numbers, I would take some independents. I'll take PDP support. But are you worried about what many people in Kashmir have told me, the growing divide between the Valley and Jammu? If anything, I mean, it's not the first time that we've seen it, but at least when you all were in power, you were able to strike a relationship between Jammu and the Valley. You had a deputy chief minister of the BJP, a chief minister. That may not, I mean, are you worried that this election has only thrown up the widening divide, Hasib, between Jammu and the Valley?
That has been a historical fact, Rajdeep.
Is that going to make it more difficult to govern?
It's much more difficult for a variety of reasons, and I'll come to that. But before we go there, the 2014 alliance, which was seen as a North Pole, South Pole, was primarily driven by the fact that PDP did not have a single member of the Legislative Assembly from Jammu. How can you run a state where half the state is not represented in the government? That was one major reason, which, besides other reasons as well. So, quite apart from the fact that Jammu and Kashmir are different in every single way, whether it's linguistics, whether it's politics, whether it's ethnicity, all of these, and this has been a historical fact. So to that extent, it will be difficult. But what I'm really worried about is how stable, A, this government will be. 2, how will they run the government with Jammu not being in government? I don't know how many
No,
members out of the
I have
48.
that. In Jammu, it's not as if the NC and the Congress have been decimated. They have 11 leads currently, 8 for the NC, 3 for the Congress. So especially in the Indarwal, Naushera, Rajouri, Ramban,
So let's look at, Rahul, can we look at the numbers, say how much has the INC, NC got in Pir Panchal and in Chenab Valley. That will be a critical factor. So don't look at Jammu as one unit. Look at it in 3 units. One, the Chenab Valley, which is mixed population, where gerrymandering happened. Constituencies were changed. Look at Pir Panchal, which is again an important segment, and then Jammu Plains, right? Within Valley, look at typically South Kashmir, North Kashmir, Central Kashmir. So one needs to understand what numbers have come in from Chenab Valley and Pir Panchal. Traditionally, Congress would do very well in Chenab, largely because of Ghulam Nabi Azad, which is where he comes from. Now, he being out of the party, and there's been some movement outside his party as well. How well has Congress done there? And how well has NC done in Poonch and Rajouri, which actually was where NC would get bulk of its seats in the Jammu region? NC has been the only party that's a pan-state party. But somehow in the 1990s, 96, they gave up Jammu to Congress in an alliance, which has somehow continued, and they have lost that pan-JK status.
No, but we have that data. For example, they're winning in Poonch, they're winning in Doda, they're winning in Indarwal, they're winning in Mendhar, they're winning in Naushera, they're winning in Nagseni, they're winning in Ramban. So, so it's not as if they've been hammered.
Yes.
The BJP has 27 leads in Jammu, the Congress and the NC have 11.
So,
there's some representation.
That way there is some representation.
It's not marginal representation.
Yes.
When do you expect statehood to be restored?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't hazard a guess on that, but governance with BJP at the center would be a difficult task. And now, what is the incentive for the BJP to grant statehood at this point of time? What leverage does the state government have? So it's going to be a very difficult thing to run this government, given the fact that this is closer to being a municipality than being a state. So all the legislative powers have been taken away. The home police has now been given back to the center. So there is a different regime in operation which will affect how effective this government will be.
Okay, well, Rahul, I know you're looking at Jammu and Kashmir. I just want to say, because Haryana becomes, so critical at the moment, the vote share gap is 2%, which was 3% about an hour ago. So, if anything, the BJP has narrowed the vote share. So, recent votes have it would seemingly the BJP is getting a disproportionate share. The only hope that the Congress has at the moment, if they have hope, is that in the seats less than 1,000, the BJP leads in 6, the Congress in 4.
But they started questioning, Rajdeep, the data again. Supriya Shrineth of the Congress has tweeted to say, ये trend बदलेगा. Election Commission की website data update नहीं कर रही. हमारे data में Congress आगे तस्वीर बदलेगी.
No, but what is their data? The only data you can go by, unless they've got some special data we don't have. The only thing is less than 5,000, Congress leading in 20, BJP in 25. With about 10, 12 rounds to go, all the 5,000 less than 5,000 can change. I don't think anything else will change dramatically. Less than 10,000, if you look at, the BJP is up in 39, 29. So, effectively, the BJP seemingly is going to be around 40. That's certain. That's almost certain.
They could also be 50 plus.
Yeah, so, but more likely at least 40 to 48, this range. For the Congress to go up from 36 to 45 is going to be very difficult now. So for the Congress to become single largest is becoming more and more difficult in Haryana.
Shows once again how the Congress is basically piggybacking on the NC, where they were in a direct duel with the BJP. They seem to have been bested again.
Yep. No, I don't think, even within the NC, there was a great desire to partner with the Congress in terms of an alliance. Perhaps NC would have done better if Congress was not an ally there, and they could have probably gotten more seats within the valley.
But there's no real way of knowing that.
Yeah, there's no real way of knowing it. But two things become very clear. One is, as you said, and that's absolutely right, is that the smaller party experiment has failed. There's no question about that. And BJP has managed to retain Jammu, because the important fact is that after the abrogation of 370, if any part of the state was affected, it was Jammu, in terms of business.
Where are you getting this?
So, and if you go back in history, the Act of 1928 was meant for Jammu, to protect the Jammu citizens. I think that's where it's credible on part of BJP, because till about a couple of months ago, nobody was giving BJP more than 12 to 15 seats in Jammu, and they've come up to 28.
Iltija Mufti in Beach Behara, on the family bastion of the PDP, trailing. She seems to be conceding defeat. What do you make of that?
Mehbooba also lost Bijbehara. Even in the parliament elections, nobody voted in Bijbehara. Perhaps trying to atone for the sins of having allied with BJP. It's not gone down well with it. I was instrumental in that alliance, and how difficult it was, I know. Do
you think that's really what marred the PDP's credibility with the voters in the valley?
Without doubt.
You haven't recovered since?
Haven't recovered, absolutely.
तो आपने डुबा दिया और आप बॉम्बे चले गए?
नहीं, I was not before that. It was a very well thought out decision, and as I said, what was being discussed, that it would have been impossible to run the state without Jammu being on board. And today now you have a semblance of representation from Poonch, Rajouri and others. That was important. Because
in your understanding, will Omar become chief minister, or he'll say, till it's a UT, it makes no sense for me to be CM? Or you think he'll take what he gets?
Fought from 2 seats. You see, you also have to give it to NC that this is the only party that has not suffered any losses in terms of people. 5 years. Now go back to 14. 10 years without power. Huge efforts to split the party, or people just desert. Like PDP, it was an overnight affair. One fine morning, out of 10 cabinet ministers, 7 walk across and join Altaf Bukhari, who's also a minister and former party. Now look at it from that perspective. NC has not lost a single politician to any other party, and that is a huge thing.
Why do you think this smaller party experiment has come a cropper in Jammu-Kashmir?
They're all seen as being allies of the BJP. It's a fact. They're all being seen as proxies. So it's, in fact, the major kind of discussion in the elections, both Parliament and Assembly, has been accusing each of the parties accusing the other of being a proxy of the BJP.
But do you think because this happened during the Lok Sabha elections and Engineer Rashid won, which is why the likes of Farooq and Omar Abdullah were able to communicate this to voters in Kashmir, that if Engineer Rashid, Altaf Bukhari, these people win, then it will be advantage BJP. That message they were able to drive home.
It would have been very difficult, very, very difficult in my understanding, for anybody to do an alliance with BJP at this stage. After 2019. It's not just about 370, it's about reorganizing the state, it's about reorganizing the constituencies, it's about giving more seats to Jammu. The difference at some point was 13, is down to 4. Those 4 are mapped by extraneous 5 nominations. So the system has been geared towards instability. It must go to the credit to the Valley voters that they have voted one way, which is NC. Because NC, if you recollect, contested only 33 seats in the Valley. 11 went to Congress. So if you would see it from that perspective, they have done very well. So it's a very mature kind of voting from the Valley side. And similarly on the Jammu side, it's just one way, which is like BJP is getting 28, 29, whatever the number is now.
So in Jammu, the BJP's got 27, down 3 from the last time.
Yeah.
The NC and the Congress are at 11, up 3 from the last time. Sorry? No, because we did an extrapolation converting 87 into 90.
87 into 90.
Otherwise, they're not comparable. So you went down to every counting center.
That's a good clarification, though.
Looked at otherwise you won't be able to compare. Otherwise, I can't show a swing from the last election. So you've kind of made apples and apples.
Perfect.
Otherwise, you're not comparing this fairly.
The total number of seats has increased. Yeah. The number of seats in Jammu has increased disproportionately. So to that extent, those elements need to be factored in.
But the good thing is democracy is back, elections are back, and there is a clear verdict.
There is a clear
verdict. People
verdict.
have voiced their opinion very, very clearly.
A clear verdict becomes even more important because the system has been designed for instability, if you see it from that perspective. But going forward, will this actually be the beginning of the end of bifurcation?
Why do you say that?
Because now what will connect Jammu and Kashmir? Now, this is something that needs to be thought through. You cannot have a system whereby one part of a state or a UT or whatever you want to call it is completely out of 27 people or more are just don't get represented in that thing. Nothing from Jammu comes in. How many ministers will come in? The good thing being that Rajouri, Poonch and others are a part of it. So you see, there again, the important part is that in the delimitation exercise or even the parliament exercise, a part of Jammu, which is Rajouri and Poonch, was merged with South Kashmir.
Anantnag,
right? So that also has an impact. So are you then saying that now that part is closer to the valley, at least for electoral politics, if it's relevant for parliament?
But that's an artificial creation. You've got a mountain range in the middle.
Is an artificial creation. The whole state was an artificial creation. Let's look at it, Jammu-Kashmir and Ladakh. It was done in 1846 for different reasons. The point I'm trying to make is some bits of Jammu, we tend to see Jammu as being BJP and Valley being whatever else. The fact remains within Jammu there are pockets like the Pir Panchal, like the Chenab Valley, which are A, Muslim dominated, B, closer to the valley, both in language, linguistics, culture and all that. So at some point, this is going to become an issue that there are a lot of differences between Jammu and Kashmir, both geographically, ethnically, linguistically, now politically. Will you be able to keep the state for governance purposes is a question that needs to be asked. So you have created a system of instability, but does that hurt the governance of the state? Because at the end of the day, Rajdeep, it's not about electoral arithmetic. It's how are you going to run the state?
And particularly because you said that the assembly, as most people believe, doesn't even have the powers of a strong municipality. So what is the chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir, whoever does, what is he going to do? Will the centre give statehood, which we don't know whether they would give in the near future, even though they promised, either of which will create a lot of problems of governance, expectations not being met, the tussles between LG and Chief Minister of the kind that we've seen in Delhi, repeating in Kashmir could have it. So Kashmir is about the complications.
Yes.
While NC may celebrate reaching 50, half century, which will give them an element of comfort, the NC Congress, the fact of the matter is, the real question marks continue to remain in Haryana. I was just speaking to a Dainik Bhaskar journalist and he said there were 33 seats. He's the editor of their Panipat edition and across Haryana. 33 seats which are less than 5,000. He says anything that can happen will happen in those 33 seats. That will what will decide Haryana. His own belief is both these parties will now be in the range of where they, roughly around where they are. One could be 5 less, one could be 5 more. But effectively, the BJP still remains in pole position now to form a government in Haryana. He also was raising questions about EC, increasing voter turnout in the last couple of days. But, those are questions that political parties will have to answer. At the end of the day, the EC will tell us that they do now turn out in real time. So
Last night they did.
Like they did in the Lok Sabha. So that can increase voter turnout. But as of now, I think the 33 seats, Rahul, many of them in the Jat heartland will decide.
We have some data, Rajdeep. 1.40 crore voters voted. 40 lakh votes have been counted. 1 crore votes still to be counted. So less than 30% of the votes have been counted. 70% are to be counted in the subsequent rounds. But the leads are consolidating. And you're also a numbers guy. So when the leads consolidate in this fashion, do you see any possibility of a turnaround? Or do you think it's more or less settled, a couple of seats up or a couple of seats down?
I would go along with the view that this is too large a lead to get now overturned.
And this, Rajat, is the first piece of political good news the BJP has had since the 4th of June. Everything seemingly was going wrong for them. To be able to win Haryana suddenly changes the narrative. Maharashtra, Jharkhand, Bihar, Delhi, they hit it with that much more gusto.
And BJP's supporters are more emotional than the Congress ones.
तो उनके क्या है?
थोड़ा सा sinusoidal ज़्यादा चलता है तो थोड़ा जल्दी हताश होते हैं. But then now this will be a big booster for them, and you will see in Maharashtra where they, a lot of them have been saying like, okay, no decision is going our way. Suddenly you'll see them to be more upbeat and fighting for that every single, small vote percentages here and there.
The fact that they've retained Jammu.
They've retained Jammu.
Because from a business perspective, I can tell you, on the ground, there is a lot of difficulties that have happened post, even as simple as removing Octroi Post. A whole lot of Punjab businesses coming into Jammu and doing rice milling and stuff, which has hurt the interests of the Jammuites. So there was a lot of resentment. They have made a lot of ground in the last maybe month and a half through aggressive campaigning, through whatever. Fact remains they have moved from somewhere between 12 to 18 to 27. It's a big jump.
So this is what I was saying since long, that BJP was absolutely pushed against the wall. All odds were against them. They were hoping to get only 12 to 15 seats. Yes. But within 1 month, they worked so hard in Jammu. And I believe similarly, they worked very hard in Haryana as well.
And it has helped the BJP to separate Maharashtra and Haryana. Because then you could put the BJP has the resources, the machine to focus on state by state. So now they focused on Haryana and of course on Jammu, and they get the benefits. Then you move to Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Now the opposition, the Congress won't know where do I put my effort in. Do I put it in Maharashtra or do I put it in Jharkhand? Jharkhand, I'm piggybacking in a way on the JMM. So where do I put my... As of now, there are only 6 seats in Haryana where the margin is less than 1,000. 7 as we speak. 5 the BJP is leading in those, 1 the Congress. So as those are the only seats where I can see a major shift taking place given the numbers that Rahul is saying. Less than 5,000, there are 41 seats. Now 41 seats less than 5,000, BJP leading in 22, Congress in 17, others in 2. But overall, Rahul, the picture that I can now see emerging is the Congress's best case scenario is to come around 40. The BJP, even at its worst case scenario, will be around 43, 44. And with those independents and the INLD getting 7% of the vote. So while the JJP is being wiped out with just 1% of the vote, INLD is getting 7%. So you could have a situation come the end of the day where...
And BJP is showing its agility. I think the party president JP Nadda has already called in a meeting and they are making his outreaches
he doesn't even need to call in a meeting because INLD...
No, but this is what I'm saying.
No,
BJP will ensure that not even a small opening is given to the Congress
because INLD right before was very clear that it would support the BJP.
Right.
It had made it stand clear. The others 8 which are there, out of those 8, 6 are the ones which are going with the BJP.
And the others,
Rajdeep, this is history in the making.
And one of the others is Savitri Jindal.
But Savitri Jindal and most of them go with the BJP. But this is history in the making.
Clear, it's because of the confirmation bias of many over here that we are stopping from calling this a victory for the BJP because everybody went out, they thought the Congress ki Aandhi, Tufan, Tsunami. Boss, when you're 49 versus 35, leave your personal bias outside the studio, look at the data for what it is. This is a massive historic victory for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
It's a win for the BJP.
It's a massive... Given the odds, it's a massive...
It's history for the BJP.
It's history. No, I don't know what do you mean by confirmation bias outside. We do agree right here that this is history in the making, Rahul, because this is the first time any government in Haryana has consecutively come back for the 3rd term. And you've got to accept it.
And in some ways, the hubris of the Congress for having believed that they'd won this election before they actually had. And the fact that they strutted through this election thinking that this is a battle that they'd already won, that is now proving very costly because even if from 34 they go up by a couple of seats, the end result is unlikely to change. Nayab Saini is most likely going to be sworn in as Chief Minister once again in the Bharatiya Janata Party, winning Haryana and changing India's political narrative within minutes. This changes the build-up to Maharashtra, this changes the build-up to Delhi, this changes the build-up to Jharkhand, and that is a massive change in the national political equation.
And the BJP is touched 50 now. So the BJP is touched 50, which I think they've only done once before.
They've never done it in Haryana.
During today's...
But this is the first time.
But during today's, for the first time, you've touched the halfway mark since about 2 hours ago.
But Rajdeep, they've bested their 2014 performance.
I can't see it changing now. No. Anything, for this to change will require another miracle. We saw one miracle between 9 and 10. I think the Congress is now clutching at straws in the belief that they are still in the fight in Haryana. I don't know where Supriya Srinath, you said, is getting her numbers, saying our numbers are wrong.
But most of the Congress leaders are saying that now.
Because
most Congress leaders are saying that the EC is not updating numbers, but they are clutching at straws.
Because normally the close contest seats do not go one way. They are normally distributed in the same proportion as the overall tally.
Yeah, and if you look at the number of seats above 5,000, BJP is leading there by 5-6 seats.
10 seats.
10 seats. So it will go in that proportion.
That's the decisive lead which they have got essentially, because that's now 52 of NC. 10 or 14.
No, I'm missing the 52 of NC. I mean, look at how politics has turned. And I think pollsters will have to look at it. Pollsters predicted, look at all, edge for Congress NC in Haryana, clear victory, edge for Congress NC in Kashmir, clear victory in Haryana. What's happening? Exactly. Clear victory for Congress NC as of now in Jammu and Kashmir. And the BJP is winning Haryana. I mean, pollsters need to sort of look at themselves. We need to look at ourselves, of course, but we don't have to put numbers at least.
But Rajdeep, Haryana elections have always, like I said, because we've talked about the jalebi and the jaleb so much, have reflected the jalebi and the jaleb only through consecutive elections in Haryana. Most difficult to predict. And, like I said right in the beginning, that saying in Haryanvi, that is standing true for the BJP.
But the likes of Yogendra Yadav who said it is very certain that the BJP is declining, brand Modi is decimated, it's one more step in the continuation of the end. all that narrative is out of the window. Now, if the BJP gets 48 seats, then the idea that Modi 3.0 is the last Modi government, that now raises a big question.
And no one, it's his home state, but no one is perfect. Look, the same Yogendra Yadav was being feted after Lok Sabha. That he's the only guy who got it right. And Yogendra ji is saying he's also stumped by the numbers as they stand. So, when it comes to the numbers game and translating vote shares into numbers, I think all of us need to take a step back and say, yaar, ye voter pe chhod do, hum us pe na pade. Because the moment you do it, you're seeing, what happens. The margins tighten, elections go either way. And every election now is showing it's very distinct to each other. Jammu and Kashmir is so distinct to what we are seeing taking place in Haryana. Maharashtra will be different again. I maintain none of this will have a major impact apart from momentum.
Rajdeep,
BJP will have more momentum now.
But momentum is very important.
It is.
Because in Haryana they fought with and the BJP is at its deadliest when it thinks it's losing.
Oh, yes.
When they think haar rahe hain, lut rahe hain, pit rahe hain, which is when the karyakarta gets charged up and they actually make a go for it. When they think they're winning, they're also happy thinking ki 400 par ho gaye, we don't need to do very much. And that's when they lose. It is when you fight with your back to the wall that you have a good chance of winning. 52 for the NC Congress in Jammu and Kashmir. Hasib Drabu, it seems that votes are the new stones.
That's right. It's vote pelting in the valley. We've been saying that the vote is the new stone, and it is pretty much vote pelting happening in the valley, and it's not a bad thing. You've kind of moved into the democratic space. You're using, the power of the votes. So you are voting and voting in unison.
No, but there's so much enthusiasm around Engineer Rashid. Even when he came to our panchayat, there was a lot of enthusiasm around him. People want to get photos.
Yeah, but again, you see, the whole point is that at that stage, he had been held, he's in prison, so there's a lot of sympathy. But I think it was hugely exaggerated in the national media. Locally, it was very evident that Engineer Rashid will make an impact in the parliament. He will certainly not go and have an impact in the thing. First of all, he's not known beyond North Kashmir. Let's first of all see that.
Correct.
South Kashmir was completely a different territory for him. Central Kashmir a different territory from him. Then also, of course, the effective communication that he might not be what he pretends to be and that he is a proxy must have also dented the whole thing.
And it also throws up, Amitabh Tiwari, the question that the Congress, which thought we haven't really worked much on strengthening ourselves on the ground. Yes, Rahul Gandhi had these 2 yatras, but that apart, nothing much has changed. And yet everyone was convinced that the Congress is back. Now it raises questions. If you can't win Chhattisgarh, if you can't win Madhya Pradesh, you can't win Rajasthan, you can't win Haryana either, then where is the Congress back? That let's not count chicken before they are hatched.
Yeah, so essentially, see, what happens after big Modi rallies? There is a lot of ground connect with the voter, which the BJP, Panna Pramukhs, etc. do. So what you are essentially hinting at is at that leg after the Bharat Jodo Yatra. So the connect with the voter of the local cadre has been missing, it seems, because the local organization, it still seems to be weak, and there is a sense of overconfidence perhaps in the in the Congress party. They have got 99, but we have all seen that they have been behaving as they have won, and NDA has not won. NDA was a pre-poll alliance, not a post-poll alliance. Correct. There was a setback in terms of seats, and BJP also getting its act together. They realized that these 2 elections will set the tone for Maharashtra, Jharkhand, and even Delhi and Bihar next year. So I think they have worked on the ground silently also, away from media chatter.
And remember, Amit Shah didn't do a single interview all through this campaign, not once. He did a couple of briefings for the 100 days of the Modi 3.0 government, but not one interview. Didn't come to any of the panchayats. And there they are, 49-35. I'm sure he'll be out soon, saying, "Achha, batao kya puchna hai."
So that is what the difference is with the Congress. If you see MP also, MP and Chhattisgarh, Congress from starts to behave or say that we are winning. Whereas the BJP acknowledged both in MP and Chhattisgarh that they are on the back foot, that they are not going to win. And they perhaps took steps to make those changes. Here also, I don't think BJP ever claimed that they are winning this state. They were apprehensive, or they acknowledged the fact that they were on a back foot, and they took necessary steps to make those changes.
But Rahul, it means all our analysis that we made. Manohar Lal Khattar was removed too late. Perhaps he was removed just at the right time, you could argue. The analysis that we made that, that the Congress did the right thing by projecting in a way a face, unlike in other states where there's this constant tussle, kaun banega Mukhyamantri. That analysis goes out of the window. The fact that, we thought that by consolidating the Jat vote and the Dalit vote would also come to the to the Congress, that may not have happened. It almost seems as if what the BJP has done is turn around this election, make it more fragmented. I'm presuming that the fragmentation has helped.
Yeah.
The Congress vote share has gone up from all indications to 41%. But because the fragmentation also has taken place simultaneously, all analysis is going out of the window. Everyone is groping to find a reason as to why this has happened.
See, I think if we draw from MP Chhattisgarh example, then what happened in Lok Sabha and what's happening now. Any time any party took for granted their victory, they are basically being pushed back.
No, and it raises...
In Lok Sabha, BJP thought they are basically sweeping through. They got pushed back. And so once you start thinking ahead of yourself and voters, you are going to get...
So hubris, arrogance has been hit both in the Lok Sabha for the BJP and in Haryana for the Congress.
And I think even here in Jammu-Kashmir, I think BJP thought that they have an arithmetic on their side, right? All they need to do is get 30 plus seats in Jammu, and then there could be a easily post-coalition alliance. And now it seems that they are stuck below 30. They are even losing seats in Jammu.
Remember, at this moment, there's a question about who gets to be the next BJP president. Dharmendra Pradhan has led the BJP as the Prabhari for the state, and within BJP ranks, he'll be quite the star today. In a battle where they had very little chance, Biplab Deb as the Prabhari, Dharmendra Pradhan as the Prabhari, they've led the party to a historic victory. If the BJP is at 50, the Congress is at 34. Within BJP ranks is, his own star.
Could he be a future president of the party?
And given the fact that you are discussing
given that he's an organizational man, could he be a future president of the BJP?
I think his names are anyway doing the round for very long time now.
No, but this does his credentials a lot of good because he's
his credentials have always been there, by the way. I mean, you and me judge in a studio room, but, from an ideological perspective, he's been seen as a true ideological foot soldier, always holding the ground no matter what elections. He was also there in Odisha, by the way. He was trying to, continuously keep the momentum going for all these decade-long efforts of BJP that finally resulted in a BJP government. So that is there. Now, I'll come to the point of there is this behavioral analysis wherein bandwagon effect is discussed or a winner takes all. But public never sort of goes with the winner mindset. Like, if somebody is winning the election, let me just go out and vote and make the winner win even by bigger margin. That did not hold in Lok Sabha because BJP was clearly going with a narrative of 400 plus. Had that settled in, public could have thought that, anyway BJP is winning, why should we waste our vote? Let us go out and, kick into that narrative of winner takes all. Did not work there. Even in Haryana, by the way, that winner takes all mindset, which was settled in, ossified by the narrative that Congress is winning.
Only the Congress
Jats did not think, nobody thought
no, Rajat, only the Congress believed that this was a pro-Congress election. This was not a pro-Congress election.
Everybody that were picking up.
This was a negative vote election, and I think the X factor of the Haryana election will be the independents. Whichever way we look at it.
No, I wanted to make a, since you're talking about how Congress approaches elections, it's extremely curious how Congress